kill the GM hold music, as it's delightful it is. Is everyone else still here?
Present.
Captain on the bridge.
Excellent. I think Monday briefly stepped away, but we can go ahead and start with announcements at the very least. Both for the benefit of the recording slash stream and for you guys, again, we are still playing Star Trek Adventures. We have not switched to Buck Rogers or the Star Wars RPG suddenly. A few things I wanted to go over, again, mostly for the stream slash recordings benefit. This time I'm going to be watching the recording to make sure that you actually can see the dice rolls, because last time I kind of hit the wrong screen and didn't notice till the end of the stream. So hopefully no glitches like that will occur this time. Also, I did get a couple questions about why the turn order box was floating around on screen. I'm using that to track my own threat, and unless you're a GM, you can't see it. So it's an easy way for me to keep threat tracked across multiple screens. More relevant to you guys is we will be playing to about 7 p.m. my time, so about 3.5 hours from now. That way Monday doesn't die on us. Let's see what else. As I was saying to the captain, I have a certain amount of content planned, and if we go past that, obviously we will be at the mercy of your RP. So I will say that basically don't feel like I'm rushing you at any point. Feel free to take your time and tell me to shut up if you want to RP with each other. But other than that, I think we're good to go. Does anyone have any announcements that they'd like to make? Otherwise, I'm inclined to turn it on over to the captain.
All right. Captain's Log Supplemental. Stardate 48307.7. While en route to Narendra Station, our runabout received a distress call from Xerxes IV, a Federation research station suffering the effects of an ion storm. Unable to transport, our shuttle crash-landed on the planet's surface. There, we discovered that the Federation science team have undergone some form of de-evolution, reverting them back to a Neanderthal-like state. Fortunately, Dr. Heidi's ship had not yet de-evolved so much, and was able to provide our crew with some much-needed context for the situation. The researchers of Xerxes IV were studying the planet's unique flora as a possible cure to Irumodic syndrome, a degenerative neurological condition. Dr. Ship believes that the radiogenic properties of the planet is reacting adversely to the approaching ion storm, which in turn has created the field she believes responsible for this de-evolution effect. The effect will not only render the potentially life-saving plants useless if we don't collect them in time, but has also begun affecting the crew and myself as well. Even worse, the approaching ion storm is threatening to take all of our lives in a matter of hours if we cannot repair our shuttle and leave the planet promptly. If we are to have any hope, our crew will have to split up. Counselor Nelan, Ensign Risha, and myself will stay at the research station to work on a cure to the de-evolution process using Dr. Ship's notes. Lieutenant Maddock and Ensign Monday will be taking the station's damaged shuttle back to the runabout to be used as scrap for the runabout's repairs. If given enough time after that, we can try to collect the necessary fauna and save as many researchers as possible before we need to leave ourselves.
All right, very good. And as always, I really appreciate you doing these little logs. They are a great way to do recap. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into the action. So as the captain has said, unless there are any last minute changes, we'll be splitting you guys. So the captain and Rasha will be staying behind in the lab to work on a cure. Monday and Maddock, you guys will be heading out in the damage shuttle to try and get it back towards the runabout. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the stream, but Nalan will not be joining us this stream because it is his birthday. So for those of you watching and wondering, where the hell is he? There you go. That's why he's not here today. But let me just throw this out here. Would any group prefer to go first? Silence. Okay. Monday, are you here? Oh God, they're dying on me.
Uh-oh. Well, I guess my group can go first.
Yeah, let's deal with the captains and Rochot's group, and then hopefully by then Monday will be back with
It,
us.
it looks like Lieutenant Maddock is typing in Discord right now, so
Yeah,
maybe there is a technical issue.
could be. Who knows?
No, it's if I ever have Discord open on my phone, it for whatever reason it says I'm typing.
Oh, I see.
Why? I saw Monday's icon light up there for a second. Anyways, let's push on ahead. So, the captain and Rochelle, you guys are in the medical bay of the Xerxes IV station, and oh, sorry, small note. I added to each of your tokens a blue bar. It should be the number of intervals of time you can make. So you should have 8 points in that bar, and each action that you guys take will take one action or one interval of time, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
So just for mostly for bookkeeping and for to keep everyone honest, just make sure you're subtracting the relevant amount of time from your bar. Anyway, so you guys are in the medical bay of Xerxes IV. With you in the bay is an unconscious Heidi Ship, a unconscious Jasper, and that's about it. You have the data that you collected on your tricorder, and you have a limited amount of research suite available to you.
Um, as like an operational question, our momentum count. I have it recorded from last time is 4.
Yes, that matches up with what I have, and we'll say because I feel like being nice, we'll let you keep the 4 instead of going down to 3 because of a scene change.
Okay. And so it's myself, Ensign Risha, and Lieutenant Nealon, who is not here, the player, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Well, I guess we should start looking at Dr. Ship's notes. What do you think, Ensign Risha?
Absolutely, sir. I can start going through the notes and see if there's any information available to us.
Okay.
All right.
So again, I'm going to, adding my own flair and modifying things on the fly. So for those of you at home wondering, why the hell is he having them roll that? That's why. Anyway, so going through ship's notes, I'm going to say that because you also had a specific log entry that talked to this that you found, as well as a good scan of a plant mid transformation, the tree that you phasered down. I'll be reducing the difficulty of a few tasks in this track. But to start things off, either Richaud or the captain, and you can assist one another on this. I need you to do a reason plus science task at a difficulty of 2. And this is going to be to determine whether or not you can really bring home in a solid form what is causing the de-evolutionary phenomenon.
Okay. I think I'd like to make a task on that because I have the studious talent.
Okay.
So you said reason science?
Reason science, yes.
Difficulty 2.
And I'm able to aid with that, or?
Yeah, you can help.
Sweet.
And I'm trying to see if I have any relevant focuses. I don't believe I do for this. No. Okay. Oh,
That'll be a success for my aid.
All right. And you do you have let me ask, do you have an applicable focus?
My focuses are astrophysics, cultural studies, diplomacy, infiltration, subspace communications, and team dynamics. So I don't think so.
Huh. I wonder. Oh, I see what it did. It's showing up that they changed it a little bit so that it shows up differently. I was
Okay.
wondering like why is it showing in green? So yeah, you got your two successes, and Rochelle, you said you got a success as well.
Yeah, assuming it is reason plus science.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
All
cool.
right,
Then
so
momentum.
we're up to 5. So what did we learn?
So what you learn is that, as Dr. Ship had been cluing into, is that the typically benign radiogenic properties of the planet itself it is interacting with the incoming ion storm from the system's sun in a way that obviously is both producing the phenomena, but as you kind of dig into the notes and dig into your readings, you get the sense that maybe this sort of phenomena is something that happens on an almost regular basis. It was just a fortuitous amount of time that the researchers hadn't encountered it yet, if that makes any sense. But for the sake of argument, you've at least identified the cause. So go ahead and subtract one amount of time from both Rochelle and the captain's bar. And as that's going on, let me check. Monday, you there yet? No, Monday, no. I'll put something in Discord in case he's frantically shouting at his screen and he's like, I'm here, I'm here. All right, so we'll keep on with you guys in the med bay. So at this point, with a cause in mind, you basically need to figure out the symptoms of the phenomena. So there's several ways you can go about this, and you can pitch your ideas to me. The first is you could use the data you had collected earlier regarding the tree. You could also scan Jasper, for instance, because he is, of course, in a state of flux at the moment, more so than anyone else. You could also just try and extrapolate the data, but really it's up to you guys how you want to go about studying the symptoms.
If I remember correctly, Rochelle did scan both Jasper and Ship when they first encountered them.
Yeah, you did.
So you could do a more detailed scan if that's what you mean.
Yeah, I would say that the benefit of doing this in the medical bay of the research station is you will have an access to a medical tricorder, which, to my knowledge, is a specialized type of tricorder and wouldn't be something you'd carry standard issue.
Okay.
Now, we did bring a med kit with us, so that would have the medical tricorder.
It would, yes.
Okay. I think it would be beneficial for Rochelle to scan Jasper and Ship then with the medical tricorder. It just, scanning something he's good at. So.
Okay. Roll me a control plus medicine at a difficulty of, we'll call it 2.
Okay.
Now I have a functional question. Can I assist him on this, or would that be a second action from me?
I would say that would be a second action for you, and unless his tricorder explodes in his hand,
I assume it's like difficulty 0 or 1 or something.
Right.
Okay.
Actually, does anybody mind if I spend some momentum to add some extra dice to this?
Go for it. We've got 5.
Yeah. I'm gonna spend 2 then. Just make sure we get this good.
What does 2 do?
That'll add 2 extra dice.
That'll cost 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say, doesn't it cost 3? Because the first one is 1 momentum, the second die is 2.
You are correct. Okay, I'm gonna add 1 extra die then.
Okay. And what's the difficulty of the task doing?
Right now it is a difficulty of 2.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and help.
Okay.
I'll assist. So this is still reason and science?
Control plus medicine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit more difficult. But I'm going to assume my sensor operations is going to be an applicable focus.
I think technically it's not supposed to, but sure, I'll allow it.
The system's flexible.
Oh wow, 3 successes. All right. All right. So
And,
you'll gain a
4.
momentum.
There you go. 6 momentum.
All the
All
way
right.
back up.
Very nice. So what'll happen is, as you scan both yourselves, Ship, Jasper, and as you pore over the notes you took of the mutating tree, you realize that the key to this phenomena is the how do I want to phrase this? The cell, like, you know how all cells have or living cells usually have a cell wall around them. Obviously for plants, they're a bit more rigid, but for animal cells, they're, these blob type things. Basically what the phenomena is doing, the de-evolutionary phenomena, is it is causing a breakdown of that cellular barrier and is causing it to how do I want to say this? Causing it to change into something new. It resembles its old form, almost as if someone had specifically gone into the DNA of each cell and had rewritten it to be something from an earlier time. So you think, at least as a hunch at the very least, that if you were to somehow stabilize the DNA changes in the cells, you could at the very least stabilize the condition and stop further de-evolution. Now, I will say you do have the option here of continuing to study the phenomena, or you can go straight ahead and start to try to devise a cure. It's entirely up to you.
My vote is that we go straight to devising a cure. I think our time is a little limited.
We are in a time crunch. I agree.
Alrighty. In that case, your cure, it will be either a daring plus medicine or a daring plus science at a difficulty of 3.
All right. My daring science is 12. Do you have a better one than that?
Daring plus science is 14 for me.
Okay, then I will assist you. And
I don't have any applicable focuses, do you?
no.
Okay. I would like to...
Well, unless this is a question for the GM. Is my assist task the same one as his?
I would say that your assist would be whichever one he doesn't pick. So if he picks daring plus science, yours would be daring plus medicine.
Oh, okay.
That way we cover all the bases.
Sure.
All right. This seems pretty important, so I would like to spend a point of determination using my eager to prove himself value
Okay.
to add an extra die, which will be an automatic success.
Automatic 2 successes, actually, because it counts as
yeah.
a 1.
Yeah. So what is the difficulty of this going to be?
It is a difficulty 3 at the moment.
All right. Any objection to spending another point of momentum as well?
Absolutely not.
Sweet.
In fact, let's go ahead and spend 3. Let's get 2 extra dice. I think we'll probably get 1 back.
Okay.
I tell you what, if you're going to spend that much momentum, I'm going to use threat here, and I will increase the difficulty of the task to 4. That's probably an evil GM thing, but hey, I got to start using my pool of threat.
Okay, and we've already got 2 successes in the pool, so
yeah,
it's
not terrible.
Yeah, I'll start my. You said mine is daring medicine.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so the difficulty is going to be 4?
Yes.
All right.
All right, so no help from the captain.
And I don't have an applicable focus.
Uh-oh.
2 successes, and
So you will suffer a complication, but you did pass.
E.
So I will say that as you start to use the chemicals and other such tools in the medical bay to devise a cure, what happens is Jasper starts spasming on the little bed area that you've put him on, and as one of you gets close to investigate, Jasper's eyes immediately snap open and he leaps to his feet, even though he is severely wounded. He leaps to his feet and begins shouting in a Neanderthal grunt, and he's going to attempt to tackle the captain simply because I've judged that the captain would be closest. Again, melee is a opposed daring plus security. So go ahead and roll me a daring plus security, Captain.
Difficulty.
Difficulty 1.
Okay.
Is there any way I can sort of step in and try and block the attack before it happens?
I would say unfortunately no, because at this point Monday, you and Matic would be well on your way to the runabout. But we'll get to you in a moment.
Okay, fair enough.
So the good news is all you need to do is get 1 success. Yeah. So Captain, as Jasper runs and almost flying tackles at you, you nimbly step aside. But you do now have very much an angry Neanderthal in the bay with you.
Do I have a hyperspray on hand?
I would say you are in a medical bay. It would be easy enough for you to grab one at the very least.
Right. Because I'm assuming that I'm too close to him now to use a hand phaser, correct?
I mean, you could. It's just, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but is if you are shooting your phaser at someone that isn't next to you.
Increase the complication range.
Yeah, it would increase
Okay.
the complication range. You could still shoot him point blank.
And then, but if I did a hyperspray instead, would that still be like a melee?
I would
attack?
say that would count as a melee in this instance, yes.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So we
So
will.
daring security.
Yep, it'll be daring security once again, difficulty of 1. And the good news is the Neanderthal has suffered a complication. So all you need is really like 1 success. And
Right,
that's enough. So, Captain, you load up a hypo spray. Would you prefer a knockout serum, or are you going to attempt maybe like the cure on him?
Oh, do I already have that?
I would say yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
I didn't even think of that, but yes, that is what I will.
I asked. So, you load up the hypo spray very quickly, and as Jasper starts to get to his feet, grunting, going ooh, 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 and you basically deftly step through his next swing and go with the hypo spray, and almost immediately, as it is with hypo sprays in the Star Trek universe, a effect comes over Jasper. Before, his eyebrows were almost bubbling and shifting before your very eyes, but now his facial features seem to stabilize, and Jasper becomes docile almost, like his fear or his anger or whatever it was that was driving him in the moments before has completely vanished. So, for the moment, you've pacified Jasper, and it seems that you've at least tested the cure, and it seems to have done something.
And I should that takes out 1 time interval for me.
I would say you would be at the same as Richaud. So Richaud has done 3 tests at this point, so you should each be at 5.
Okay.
But yeah, as you deliberate on how you might be able to deliver this cure to the rest of the Neanderthals, let's cut to Monday and Matic.
1 second before we do that, I'm just going to roll for my, what talent is it? Untapped potential.
Okay.
So, that can add momentum or threat. Okay, so we get 2 more momentum.
All right, very good. We'll call this a scene change. So you'll lose 1 momentum. But Monday and Matic. So you two have gone out to the shuttle that is parked outside parked outside Xerxes IV's research station. And Monday, this is your first time seeing the sorry state of the shuttle. Your usual, glistening navigational computer is completely shot. It almost looks like someone plunged a hand into the console and ripped out the wiring.
Well, bugger. All right then. I'll call Matic over to have a look, see if you can get this thing fixed.
All right. So, as I said last time, if you wanted to attempt to get this thing into the air, obviously it's not going to be able to break Atmo and it's not going to be able to go very far. But with Matic helping you and patchworking any sudden problems that crop up, you think that if you can figure out how to steer the shuttle manually, you could conceivably get it to the runabout.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, I will say. Well, first let me ask, Matic, are you going to do any last minute repairs before you guys try to get the shuttle up in the air?
Can I tell if there are like, if I don't fix this before we take off, it'll fuck us kind of thing?
Roll me a insight plus engineering, and we'll call it a
Difficulty.
difficulty of 2.
Does it have anything to do with power systems or computers?
I'll say computers in this instance.
Right. Uh, Hold on. Roll 20's being stupid right now.
All right, 2 successes. Very good. And it looks like you actually gained a momentum. Yeah, you gained a momentum from that. Very good. So, Matic, as you look about the shuttle as a last sort of pre-flight check, you realize that if you go above a certain speed, which is really arbitrary because I'm not going to give you a number, but if you go above a certain speed, the main EPS conduits will blow out. So you are able to figure out what that speed is and relay it to Ensign Monday.
All right. So since we know that speed, how long will it take us to get back to the shuttle using this shuttle?
I would say it will take 2 intervals of time.
All right.
And there's no way to push that speed a little bit more with some excellent flying.
Unfortunately, no. Well, I say that if you roll a bunch of die, I'll like if you get a bunch of successes, I'll say something about it. But otherwise,
How about would
yeah.
push the limits work? So when you attempt a con task that has increased in difficulty due to environmental conditions or damage to the engines, reduce the difficulty by 1. Would I be
Okay,
able to use that?
I would say yeah, that would apply in this instance. Which is good because in order to get this thing off the ground and heading towards the runabout, you would have to roll me a daring plus con, and the difficulty was originally 4, so it would be reduced to 3, I believe.
Well, let's give this a go then, I guess. 'Cause- 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 'cause-
And don't forget, you have, I believe, 5 momentum, so feel free to spend as much as you like.
Am I doing an assist roll for him flying because I'm trying to keep everything together, or is that something
Once you're
different?
in the air, I'll say yes, but this is him just getting the thing off the ground to begin with.
All right.
All right, medics. I'm gonna try and get this thing up. Wish me luck.
All right, let's see. So that's 2. Oh, you got a 1. Very nice. Which gives you the 3 successes you need. You very gingerly use the remnants of the navigation or the con station to get the shuttle into the air. It's a little wobbly, and it's been probably a while since you've had to do something like this manually, but you think you've got it under control. Um, so it's at this point, as you kind of wobble, about halfway up in the air next to the station, that you turn and begin heading towards the runabout. So for this, I need you to roll me a Monday. I need you to roll me a control plus con, and Matic, if you'd like to make sure that nothing breaks along the way, roll me an insight plus engineering. Both of those tasks at a difficulty of 2.
Again, I can use push the limits.
I would say so, yeah. It's a good talent to have. Okay, so 2 success. Oh, did you roll another? You rolled another 1. All right, so you gain 2 momentum. I think right now you're at the cap anyway, but
This is just
If
like
we have
real
excess
flying.
momentum, is there a way to spend that extra one so it doesn't go to waste?
Yeah, we can get
Um,
information.
yeah, you could get information from it, I suppose. I'm just kind of waiting on Maddox's roll if he's gonna make it or not. There it is. All right. So the information you get, if you choose to spend momentum, will be related to Maddox's roll. So it's up to Maddox if he wants to spend the extra point for information.
I mean, it's just gonna go away anyways, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess the question I'll ask is, while I'm patching everything together and keeping it all up, well, it. I remember last time you said that it had the right parts to fix the runabout.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the question I'll ask is, these. Does it look like we'll be able to get the runabout through the ion storm and then get to the starbase that we're headed to, or is this going to be one of those we can get off the planet, but depending on how bad the ion storm is, we may be adrift for a little bit, kind of thing?
Um, I will say that because of this extra question, you will know that the parts in question will hold up and get you off planet. But as you have surmised, the main threat is going to be beating the ion storm. And so long as you do that, you should be able to get off planet with 0 difficulty. But if you wait too long, the ion storm will be upon you, and it will be much more difficult to fly out of here.
All right.
All right. But other than that, so Monday, you get your sea legs, quote unquote, and the shuttle stops wobbling as you begin drifting and then almost soaring in a controlled fashion towards the runabout. So each of you subtract in 2 intervals of time to represent you guys getting back to the runabout. And then let's cut back to science team real fast. So, science team, how have you decided to administer this cure?
Well, I suppose first we actually need to locate the researchers. What kind of scanning equipment does the research base have?
Very limited. The clearest sensor readings that you could get just left. So I would say that you could maybe scan out to a half a kilometer with the station sensors in the state they're in. But other than that, you kind of are stuck with whatever your tricorders can pick up.
Okay.
And I'm curious if the station has any means of like mass administration for this cure.
Okay. Well, as you have asked the crucial question, so you know that there is a subspace antenna on the roof which allows for communications. You think that if you were able to somehow cause that antenna to send out a specific pulse, it might accomplish something very similar to the hypospray administration. So almost like a dampening effect as opposed to a straight up like cure type thing.
I want to get to work on that.
Okay.
I do like Risho's idea of trying to find the others, though. But I think that they can be two separately, but also useful tasks.
Exactly. So let's do Risho's first. So Risho, are you just? I just want to make sure you're scanning for Neanderthals at this point.
Yeah, I think it seems to me that I would have plenty of tricorder data now for the specific biomarkers to look for a life science scan. Yeah.
Okay. I think it would either be insight plus science or insight plus medicine, but I would be happy to entertain other ideas.
I'm happy to roll an insight plus science.
Okay. And I will say it'll be a difficulty of 2.
Did we lose any momentum for the scene change?
Yeah, I'll say yeah, because I got to start knocking down your momentum or you'll just have tons of it. You guys have rolled really well this session so far.
I'm going to add a die as well.
Okay, so we're down to
So
4.
we'll be down to 4. And I only got the 1 success, so that is not going to be enough.
Yeah, so either you just aren't interfacing with the sensors properly, or the sensors are just that far gone. You don't sense anything within a half a kilometer radius, and that includes your own biosigns. So,
Okay.
yeah, you don't get anything, unfortunately.
Does your talent still come into play for getting us back some more momentum? 'Cause you get
Yes, it
5
would.
extra die.
Yeah, let me roll for that.
No threat, no threat.
Hey, no
All
threat.
right, 1 momentum.
Alright, cool.
So, Captain, you are investigating the subspace antenna and a possible means of delivering the cure, yes?
Yes.
So, for that, I will need you to roll me a daring plus engineering or a daring plus medicine at a difficulty of 4.
Whoa. Okay, I will use daring engineering.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if I can use my determination here. Would fascination with the unknown come into play?
I would say no, not in this instance.
Okay. Alright, so in that case, it's a difficulty 4?
Correct.
Alright. I think I'm going to buy 2 dice.
Okay, so that would be 1 momentum for the first, 2 momentum for the second, for a total of 3 momentum spent.
Right, and then Could we also get Incineracho to assist?
I would say yes, he could assist you on this.
Okay, so I'll spend the 3 momentum for 2 extra dice and start my roll. I have a question, though.
Okay.
I have a focus in subspace communications.
Ooh. You know what? I said it's a subspace antenna, so I'll allow it.
Okay.
That's my own technobabble coming back to bite me. Oh,
Alright, well,
so you have 3 successes. Okay.
yeah.
And
Go ahead.
well, I was just going to say that I believe that's actually a complication for Rochelle. Thing is,
Oh yeah, because you have paranoia going on.
yeah.
All right. So what'll happen is as you guys are checking out the antenna, Rochelle, you suddenly are beset by a fear that you haven't felt in years, almost like a childhood fear. And it's so intense that you begin hallucinating. And you see all around you in the air these massive raven like birds that begin flying and pecking at you.
Okay. I guess he will try and raise his arms to defend himself and run out of the room.
Okay. So obviously this distracts the captain.
Uh, we have not yet administered this to ourselves yet, have we?
Not yet, no.
Okay, could I briefly with a hyper spray tag myself and then run after Rochelle and tag him as well?
Yes, but it will cost you an interval of time.
I'll do it.
Okay. So, since we don't want to have the other group too far behind, let's cut back to the other group. So, Monday and Matic. Monday, with your deft piloting skills, you are able to bring the shuttle right up to the backside of the runabout. You park it, for lack of a better term, such that it's easy for Matic to run in and out and deliver the parts as needed. But yeah, what are each of you doing now that you're back at the runabout?
Before like we exit, I want to run a scan real quick to see if there's any Neanderthal nearby.
Solid, solid thing. I would believe that would be insight science or insight medicine. I think. It always trips me up because I'm used to insight in D&D just being a skill, so...
I'll just stay in the shuttle, the runabout. Sorry.
Difficulty.
Difficulty of 2.
I'll just stay in where I am. Probably trying to keep the engines ticking over so they're not difficult to restart or anything.
Okay.
How much momentum do we have?
Well, you just spent 3, so I think you've got 3 maximum.
Okay.
We have 2.
There you go. You have 2. Okay. So, Matic, as you try to get the sensors on the shuttle to scan out for the Neanderthals, unfortunately, the trip has made it so that the sensor array is not like broken, but it is definitely on the fritz. Almost as if every available patch and hotfix that you did to get the shuttle this far is sapped away whatever was left of the sensors at this point.
All right. So, can I tell how long it'll take for me to fix the runabout, taking parts off the shuttle?
Yes. For that, they want you to do an extended task, but screw that noise. I would say if you roll me a control plus engineering at a difficulty of 3 and you succeed, we'll say that it will take 4 intervals of time to finish.
Um, everyone quotes me spending a momentum to get a third dice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Can I help Maddox on that one?
I would say that if you want to help Maddox, sure. But it would be the same test for you, so it would be control plus engineering.
And then because I'm fixing power systems, I'm assuming my focuses apply.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ooh.
That's a complication. Well, let's see what Monday rolls. Maybe it'll still be a success overall.
His is above mine.
Oh, that it is.
I only did it at 2 difficulty though.
That's fine. Because when you're assisting, it's only 1 roll anyway, and I'll be nice and I'll let you keep the 8. So 2 things are going to happen. It will take you 4 intervals of time to finish repairing the runabout, but Matic, as you rummage through and pull out these conduit parts and the EPS manifolds and whatnot, you are suddenly caught in an overload. And both of you, both Monday and Matic, are going to take some stun damage as the conduit or piece of technology overloads. So I get to roll this much die, I think. Okay, so you'll only take 1 point of stress, each of you. And the effect on that will be that for the time being, mostly for flavor, your face is blackened and your uniform is charred.
All right. Because I spent a dice, I'm gonna do the untapped potential.
Okay.
Well, there's another fine mess you've got us into.
So we
Hey,
get
momentum.
1 momentum back. Awesome.
Cool. So before we cut back to the others, because your interval of time will knock you down to 2, I do want to say that as you recover from this, shake it off, etc., Monday, you specifically are going to hear the rustling of bushes all around you. And when you look, you don't see anything. And it's not like the wind is rustling the bushes, because obviously with the ion storm there's a lot of wind. But it's almost as if you get this feeling as if you're being watched.
Maddox, there's something out there. Watching. Go ahead and check.
Well, they can watch all they want, but until they show themselves, I'm not too worried about them.
I'll hold the phaser ready.
Okay.
Like blindly aiming in different directions frantically.
Okay. Roll me. Oh, go ahead, Matic.
Is that like as I see him like holding the phaser?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way I can tell that it's still set on stun and like in his paranoia he didn't like accidentally put it on kill?
That's a very good thing to check. I would say that would be an insight plus security.
All right.
And I will say it'll be a difficulty of 2 because he's, darting back and forth, so you can't like get a full-on glance at it.
Since hand phasers is one of my focuses, will that apply?
Sure.
Alright.
All right, so
Oh,
wow,
wow.
you get a momentum. Very good. Um, so the good news is, unless Monday like does this literally right after I say this, it is still set to stun. But you also do notice that the power settings are set to overload in several minutes. Like he's pumped too much juice into the phaser.
Um, shit. I'm just gonna tell him flat out, like, look, like that thing's about to overload. You need to toss it. I will hand you mine, but you need to get rid of that, or else it'll explode and injure us.
What are you on about?
Your phaser, you're overloading it.
Well, you think I don't know how to use a phaser? You trying to get my phaser off? You don't believe us. This thing's out there.
I believe you. I know that there's things out there. Okay, but that phaser is about to overload. Get your head out of your ass for 10 fucking seconds and look.
So I would say at this point that all of you will hear. Yeah, it's at this point that you hear a very subtle whine beginning to build in the phaser. Everyone present would hear this.
Look, you hear that? That's the phaser overloading. You're gonna get us killed.
Okay, I'll toss the phaser.
Okay. And not a moment too soon. As you toss it perhaps at a bush that you thought was moving, the phaser kind of goes boom. And I won't say incinerates the bush, but definitely kills the plant life there. And, you know, because you threw it just in time, you guys don't take any stress from it. But currently, all you have to defend yourself is Maddox Phaser.
Alright.
I put my hand out. Phaser, Maddox. Phaser.
Is there a way I can hand it to him turned off without him realizing it's turned off?
I would say you could, but then Monday would be able to roll me an insight plus security to notice.
Alright. So I'm gonna pull my phaser out. I'm gonna hand it to him. I'm not gonna let go of it until I'm gonna put it in his hand, but I'm gonna keep a hold on it and be like, "Look, do not overload this. You need to be careful. Okay? You fuck this up, we're gonna have to go find ourselves a stick. Do you feel like fighting these motherfuckers with a stick? Because I don't."
They've only got rocks.
Then we'll go find a rock, but I would prefer to have the phaser, wouldn't you?
Yeah, give me yours.
It's in your hand
Okay.
already.
And then I'm gonna let go and be like, "Look, be careful. Keep your hand off the trigger and keep it on stun. Do not overload it again."
Okay. So, Monday, you now have Maddox Phaser. And we'll say, for sake of argument, that Maddox is now rushing back and forth to complete the repairs without Monday's help. But we're going to now cut back to the other team, the science team. You guys have one more interval of time to do something or attempt something before you match up with the repair team. So what would you guys like to do with your time?
So we've got 3 intervals left total, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, are we assuming that Catherine was successful in administering the cure to Rochelle, or?
Yes. So
Okay.
your paranoia trait goes away.
Oh, sweet.
And other than that, yeah.
I say we try that subspace communications one more time, and then maybe collect some flora and Neanderthals before the runabout gets back to us. What do you think?
Captain. Sounds great.
All right, let's get to work.
All right. So, as before, it is a daring plus engineering or a daring plus medicine task at a difficulty of 4, and you may assist each other on this.
All right, I will spend 1 momentum this time.
Okay.
So I'll roll 3 dice.
Okay. Uh-oh, I see red. Yep,
Oh, there's
I see
2.
red.
There's a 19 and a 20.
Yeah, the good news is since you're not you don't have paranoia, it doesn't hurt you.
Yeah.
But that's still a complication. So unfortunately, we'll say that as you once again try to inspect the subspace antenna, you have to jump back it very suddenly as a bolt of lightning from the growing clouds outside emits a blast of lightning towards the antenna. And I'm going to say both the captain and Richaud are going to take, I guess, 3 stress. As you all, have to leap back as the antenna is more or less fried, completely shot all the way through.
Well, that complicates things.
Well, no point in trying that again. We don't have an antenna anymore.
Well, we have the antenna on the runabout, sir.
Maybe we'll have a chance as we're heading out, but so I guess at this point it's either looking for Neanderthals and Flora while we wait for the shuttle to get back, or the runabout to get back to us. Do you have any suggestions otherwise?
I can't think of anything. Do you want to look for the Flora, sir, while I go and try and track down as many Neanderthals as I can?
I have a question for the GM.
Mm-hmm.
How many Neanderthals can we fit on the runabout with us?
So, if I remember your plan last time correctly, you were going to tow the shuttle behind you. So,
right.
Between the runabout and the shuttle, you could fit all of the science team. So, a grand total of 22, including Ship and Jasper.
Let's prioritize finding the men. We'll find a cure for earmotic syndrome another time, but these lives can't be saved otherwise.
Understood, Captain.
All right. So, it's about this time, because I feel bad because Neelan would have been good for you guys in this situation. None of you guys have really paid attention to where Neelan has been this entire time. But Neelan will kind of walk back into the research station, and he will have a singular plant in hand. And he'll say something along the lines of, I found 1 specimen, but I didn't want to stray too far, Captain.
Very good. Thank you.
But yeah, it's at this point that I would say the runabout has been repaired about as well as it could be in the situation. So Monday, if you so wished, with Matic helping you out, you could get the runabout in the air along with the shuttle, and you could go pick up your fellows.
Okay.
Alternatively, you could arrange a meeting spot. It's really up to you guys how you want to handle it from here. I will say that it will take 2 intervals of time to get back to the research station, by which point the storm will be upon you.
Something I just remembered is don't forget that last session, whenever we first landed here and we took out those Neanderthals, didn't we tie them up and put them in the runabout?
You welded them in the back, yes.
Okay. Are they still there, and are they still asleep?
You hear some light thumping, but it's not like someone going all out on the door yet. So
Okay.
probably one's awake.
So I'll ask. So I'll turn to Monday and be like, "Hey, Ensign, do you feel comfortable flying this ship? Like, can you get us back to the research station?"
I give it a little smile. Please, go sit in your seat and I'll fly us there.
Okay. I'm going to hold my hand out and say, "Since you're flying, go ahead and give me back my phaser. That way, in case that door opens up or more of them wake up, I'm ready."
I'll reluctantly hand it back, keeping an eye on Maddox.
Yeah. I'm basically just gonna stand at the doorway with the phaser pointed at the door where we put the Neanderthals.
Okay. Question: are either of you going to fill in the captain or any member of the research team that you're on your way?
Um, dude, hey Cap, it's Matic. Shuttle's fixed. We're on our way.
Maddie, do you think you can bring back the shuttle in tow?
Uh, can I?
You could.
Yes, Captain.
All right, let's try that.
All right.
All right. So Monday, I need you to roll me a control plus con task at a difficulty of 2.
I'll use the push the limits talent again.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So Monday, you sit down at the navigation or the con, and it's almost like slipping into like a warm robe or your favorite pair of slippers. This is where you belong, and you are able to not only get the shuttle into the air or the runabout into the air and moving along with the research station shuttle tractored behind you. You are going to be able to get there a little bit ahead of time of the storm. So we're going to cut back very quickly to the captain and Rochelle and Neelan. Is there any last minute task you guys want to attempt before the shuttle arrives?
I do want to scan for Neanderthals, but I think I would be assisting Rochelle on the task, possibly using my command ability. So, like, and as a way to, like, in the sense that I'm trying to, like, best and most efficiently spread our resources as we can.
Okay.
Well, my question is there anything we can do to extend the amount of time, maybe gain one more interval? Because it's gonna use up the last of the time for them to get the runabout to us, right?
It's going to cost one more, so all of you would be at one interval of time by the
Okay.
time the shuttle's there.
And there's no way to like harden the shield against the ion interference, so we can like hang out to the last second and try and collect as many Neanderthals as we can, or anything like that.
I mean, you could, but then you would obviously be at the risk of getting stuck in the ion storm.
How are we towing the shuttle behind on the runabout?
A tractor beam at the moment.
Okay.
Well, Rochelle will propose that to the captain. Try and he can try and calculate like a shield modulation frequency or something, so they can try and stick around for just that much more time. And we'll express the fact that it is going to be very risky, but leave it up to the captain to decide.
Go ahead and do that. I'll scan for any nearby life signs while you do that.
Yes.
Runabout sensors will work, right?
They are.
Um. Okay. I was just curious. I'm not gonna start scanning or anything. Like I'm standing at a doorway with a phaser pointed at it. Like
Right.
can't really be typing on a console.
I hear you. I hear you. But yes, I would say that both Matic and Monday would know that the sensor suite is fully operational on the runabout. Um, but that'll maybe come up in a bit. Captain, I need
Do
you. Oh, go ahead.
do we have Dr. Ship and Jasper with us
You,
out front the research station?
yeah, I was gonna say unless you left them behind, you brought them with you.
Okay.
And I think we can assume that we've administered the cure to ship.
Yep.
Cool.
So she's still like out from the phaser stun, but she her breaths aren't as ragged. She seems to be a bit more relaxed.
How is Jasper doing? Because he was conscious and we administered the cure to him.
He's still docile. He's kind of just following you guys around. He's not said anything intelligible yet, but he seems to at least realize that he should be following you guys.
Okay.
Is he visibly changed at all?
Not yet, other than the fact that the mutation around his eyebrows has stopped.
Okay.
So what rolls do you need us to make?
All right, so if you are going to attempt to scan for Neanderthals again, I need you to roll me either an Insight Science or a Insight Medicine. And then, Rochelle, if you're going to be attempting to calculate the shield frequency, that would be either a Daring Engineering or a Daring Science. The scan for life forms will be at a difficulty of 2. The shield frequency would be at a difficulty of 4.
Okay. My shipboard tactical systems focus, is that going to apply to my role?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
Good thought, though.
So it looks like my task succeeded for the scan.
Oh yeah, roll 20 didn't even beep for me, so I was like, "Why? What's going on?" You actually are going to notice that the lightning strike on the subspace antenna has drawn back in some of the science team. About 10 or so individual life forms are heading in your direction.
Okay. I've got the hypo spray ready. Wait, can I use my tricorder to administer the subspace dosage when they're closer?
I would say no, because to my knowledge, tricorders don't work in subspace.
Fair enough.
But again, a very good thought. Like, if there was more time, I would say yes, but since you only have the one interval, yeah, you kind of are limited.
Fair enough.
Can I ask how big your threat pool is?
I could say that as a GM, I've got a very healthy amount of threat.
All right. Well, I think adding to that then is not going to be too big a concern. Like, what's more on top of a bunch, right? So I'm going to add some dice to my roll.
Okay.
I will add 2 dice to the roll.
Okay.
And that was going to be daring plus science, I believe.
Yep, that was one of them.
Cool. Shit.
Let's see. So, it's been a while since you've had to do this sort of thing. You just recall that one of your courses at the academy spoke about this. And you come up with like a shield frequency that might get rid of some of the effects of the ion storm, but it's the more you think on it, you realize that it really would only provide like a few minutes, not like an hour or 30 minutes, or not enough significant amount of time to extend your stay here.
All right. Oh, well, I might as well roll for the whatever it is with the talent that I have.
The untapped potential.
Yeah.
There you
All
go.
right, so we'll gain 1 momentum.
All right. So, to bring everyone back together, the runabout, piloted by Monday, comes swooping into view, and it very deftly sets down the shuttle and lands so that you guys can board without you having to use the transporters. Of course, Ship and Jasper go with you. And you guys are reunited as a party.
Excellent. Have those Neanderthals come back to our location yet?
If you were to go over to a sensor station and read the readouts, I might be able to tell you.
Is that going to take our time intervals?
Not quite, no.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So, Captain, you go over to, after, saying hello and thanks and whatnot to everyone present. You walk over to the sensor readouts on one of the stations in the runabout's cockpit, and you see that the number of Neanderthals that are nearby has increased to 15. Now, I would say if you announce this fact, others might start to get ideas of how to deal with that.
I will, of course, announce that then.
Okay. So, Matic, since you are our chief engineer, it occurs to you that in the remaining time you have left before the ion storm hits, you might be able to use the transporters to get everyone where they should be, but it would be risky. You might lose a few people in transit.
Communicator. Captain, I could try to transport some people onto the shuttle. And then once we get through the ion storm, we can administer a cure if you got one. Only issue is we may lose some people. If you want search and rescue advice, I can give it to you, but you probably won't like it.
Use your discretion, but I want to save as many as we can. Also, can we implement the cure during the transport beam? Because sometimes they have like immunization effects that go through it.
I'll say yes, why not?
Actually, Monday and I wouldn't even know if they had a cure.
Well, they've met up with you at this point.
Yeah, and we've got the hypo sprays in hand. We're just shh.
Okay.
Would my paranoia effect
Disappear? Yes.
Yeah, would it affect how I reacted to the captain approaching us with the hyperspray?
I will leave that up to your discretion.
I would purposefully give it to Matt first.
Okay.
To prove that it's safe.
Whoa. How do we know the captain wasn't infected while he was spending time in that side station with what God knows what was in there?
Monday, do you trust me?
I guess so. You did give me a phaser.
I hand the hyperspray to Matic for him to apply.
Monday, would you feel more comfortable applying this yourself?
Well, I don't know what's in it.
It's the cure.
You could tell me it was magic beans.
Well, fun story. We did find some magic beans.
You were talking to the captain earlier on the comm badge. I didn't hear what you were saying. I just heard you mention the captain's name.
I told him we were on the way.
You're not coming near me with that thing. I'll fly us back to the ship. And the ship's doctor can look me over.
Isn't Lieutenant Nealon the ship doctor?
He is the ship's counselor.
Yeah, he was a counselor.
And I would say you guys are probably about 3 days away from Neander Station. Neander Station. I can speak today. So it's just entirely up to you how you guys want to handle this.
Is there anything the counselor can do to help persuade Ensign Monday?
I believe there is. Let me very quickly check what the ship's counselors get. Because it's either they sense it or they're able to help affect the mood. But let's see what the PDF says. Oh, ship's counselor. After succeeding a task, determine their mental state. Yeah, that doesn't help at all. But Neelan will kind of go up to Monday, respectful distance, not going to get in his face or anything. And he'll say something along the lines of, Ensign Monday, I understand your concerns and your well-warranted paranoia, but don't you know that if you don't take the serum, it'll only get worse?
Can I tell if he's telling the truth?
Yeah, he seems to be telling the truth.
Just hand me the bloody thing. I'll do it myself.
All right, I'll hand it to Monday, and then I'm gonna walk to the transporters. I'm gonna run a very, very quick diagnostic on them, just to make sure they work.
And Maddox hasn't had this hyper spray yet, has he?
He's used it on himself to show that it works.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I'll hyper spray myself.
So almost immediately, that sense of lingering paranoia and heaviness on your mind vanishes.
Magic beans.
Yeah. Feel strangely foolish now. The less said about this, the better, I think. I'll just... If you need me, I'll be sitting on the pilot seat.
Rochelle will strongly agree that the less said, the better. And then he'll go to help Maddox with the transporters.
Okay. Simply because I don't want to have, another series of tests here, I'll say for the sake of argument so that we can move on to greener pastures. You are able to not only get the transporter working, but you are able to transport 12 Neanderthals or 12 Science Station members before the ion storm comes dangerously close. So you have the option of staying longer, but it would be more difficult for Monday to get you guys out of here.
Is the captain near us in the transporter, or is he over with Neelan?
Well, remember the runabout's pretty small. I mean, the transporter's right there.
All right.
Yeah, I'm in the runabout.
I'm going to tell Roche to just keep working on the transporter. And then I'm going to walk over to Captain and be like, Captain, can I speak to you privately for a second?
Absolutely.
And then I'm going to go to a real hushed tone and be like, look, and say, sir, search and rescue. There comes a point where you can only rescue so many people. There's no point in us staying much longer, because then there's a chance that everyone's going to die if we stay. If we go now, sure, we lose a couple people, but that's better than losing everyone.
Lieutenant Medic, I can tell that you've done this before, and I value your expertise here. I agree. It's unfortunate, but we came here to save people. We're going to save as many as we can, and I think we've done that. This is our best chance to save as many people as possible. So we do have to cut our losses eventually. It is unfortunate.
Rochelle's going to object. He's going to, is he able to overhear this?
I'll say for the sake of argument, you heard bits and bit pieces of it, but you didn't hear like the full thing.
Okay, so I guess we won't say anything then.
And the transporter did get everyone who was in sensor range, correct?
More or less, they got 12 out of the 15.
And then we had what, another 4 on board already?
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was 3.
Oh, 3.
So we've got 17, well, 18 if you count Jasper or 19 if you count Jasper and Dr. Shib. So those last 3 are the only ones left. If there's about 20. I mean, if we can get them, if we can transport them as we're taking off, I mean, definitely go for it. But for me, the factor is we need to get off before, as long as we still can.
All right, Captain. What's the order you give to Monday?
Take us up. Risho, if you can get any more of them, please do so. But we're heading up now.
If we just wait a few minutes, Captain, I'm sure I can get the others.
We don't have a few minutes.
What am I doing, Captain? Am I staying or am I going?
Going up.
Okay, Risho is going to work frantically at the transport and try and beam the others up.
Okay. So
I'll help if it matters. If I can. I don't know if there's enough room in the console.
I mean, you could at least supervise and point out things.
Okay.
So it's kind of a wrap up of this little session here, and as we jump into the next one, the adventure, I should say, not session. No, we're not going to end this early. Good lord. So as Monday, as you pilot the shuttle back into orbit, or the runabout back into orbit with the shuttle in tow, there's a little bit of turbulence as the fringes of the ion storm begin to buffet your flight. But you now no longer paranoid and have your full faculties about you. Have little issue working your way through the turbulence. As for Risho and the captain, unfortunately, you guys don't pick up the remaining 3 Neanderthals. Wherever they are, they're either outside of sensor range that has been reduced because of the ion storm, or maybe some of the poisonous plants got them. You really don't know. So unfortunately, it feels like you only are going to be able to get the 19 that you saved.
Okay.
Can we go back for them, Captain?
How long will it take for this ion storm to pass?
I would say that this is probably like a good week.
We pretty much determined that the ion storm, like after that passed, that was going to be like
It's gonna be
finalizing,
fatal.
right?
Yeah. I wish we could, Risho, but we don't know if there's anyone even to go back for.
Understood, Captain. And he's going to climb up.
I wonder who they were.
That's the first thing I'm going to find out when I talk to any of the cured Neanderthals. I'm going to get the names
Okay.
that didn't make it.
All right. So, as I kick you guys back over to this map, so basically it's going to take you guys 3 days to get back to, or get to Narinda Station. And during that time, obviously, Dr. Ship is going to come back to consciousness, and she will give you a list of 3 names of people that, to her knowledge, may not have made it. Like, she's able to go over to the Neanderthals that you had picked up and either recognize facial features or recognize their comm badge and judge that way, but until the Neanderthals de-evolution process is fully reversed, which takes time, it's not a certain amount of names.
Whenever we first went to the planet, I remember we sent a distress call.
Mm-hmm.
Did that get answered? Like, are there any ships in the area, or did it not make it through?
Yeah, it didn't make it through. But before I kick you guys ahead to the station, the ship is going to kind of open question to everyone. She's going to ask, I, I thank you all for saving as much as you could, but did any of you get samples to cure rheumatic syndrome? It's almost vital. Please tell me you got some And so, sometime over the week, not like during the session, I'll go through and I will figure out how to handle the advancements. Simply because I got to add up all the modifiers and whatnot to determine, what sort of roll you'd be making. That, or I might decide to do the milestone instead. It's something I'll look at, over the week instead of during the session. But it looks like Monday's back. Hi, Monday. Maybe. He's done deafened himself.
Yeah, I'm here, sorry.
No, it's okay. All right, so we'll say the next 3 days in your runabout journey to Norinda Station. Why do they? I'm just gonna call it the end station from now on. So as you get closer and closer to end station, you start to see and pick up more comm traffic, and you see more ships. Obviously, these are actual starships of the line. So you see, for example, you see the Bellerophon, a Intrepid class. You see a few Nova science vessels floating around, things of that nature. But eventually, you finally come into view of End Station, and kind of slowly rotating around it, you are able to pick up the USS Arcadia. At the moment, as I said, it is station keeping, probably a couple thousand kilometers off of the main station saucer section, or whatever that's officially called. And there are more like worker bee drones and little shuttles that are, flying about the starbase proper, that are, interfacing with other ships, moving things between the station and the planet, things of that nature. But as you aren't keeping the runabout, you bring the runabout into one of the station's shuttle bays. And almost immediately after you disembark, there is a admiral waiting for you on the shuttle bay floor. And to kind of describe what she looks like, is everyone familiar with Acatian?
That's the cat people,
cat
ain't it?
people.
That would be correct, yes.
All right.
And
Yeah.
not like the JJ cat people. We're talking like old school cat people.
Like animated series.
Oh god, I wouldn't go that far, but yes.
Motion picture.
Anyways, so
No, wait, no, it's Star Trek 4 where they show up.
yeah, Star Trek 4. Captain, you're gonna know the name of this admiral almost immediately, because she's the one who signed your orders to captain the the Arcadia. This is Admiral Haru.
Haru.
Yes, Haru.
Haru. There you go.
And as you all disembark, and the Neanderthals, looking slightly more human as they come behind you, the admiral just kind of nods at each of you in turn, and then looks to the captain and says, Captain, I understand you rescued a good number of people from a research station in trouble. I wanted to make sure that they were seen to.
Yes, we got as many as we could. They could probably benefit from this station's medical bays, I'm sure.
Of course. And she kind of snaps her fingers, and from a respectful distance away, you see a slew of medical personnel kind of not quite rush, but they kind of move up to the Neanderthals and begin escorting them away, including Dr. Ship. And as that's going on, Haru kind of turns on her, about face, and she says, Captain, you and your crew walk with me.
Okay.
And, she takes you out of the shuttle bay and into the station proper. More or less, she takes you to the promenade, or whatever a promenade would be on such a station. And as you guys are walking along, taking in the sights, Haru says, well, I wanted to let you know that the Arcadia's refit finished yesterday. You are cleared for a shakedown cruise before we start assigning you towards other missions. As far as I'm aware, all of your requested personnel are aboard, so it's mostly a matter of you settling in and deciding when to do your shakedown. And then she stops for a moment, like mid pause, and looks out the window, and you can see that the Arcadia is, right outside, kind of a thing. And she says, "The last captain of the Arcadia, Captain Thomas, was, shall we say, Kirk-like in nature. And as I am responsible for all of the operations in the Shackleton Expanse, I think it goes without saying that I'd prefer less Kirk in my captains." And at this, she kind of turns to face the captain very, very intently. And she says, "You're not a Kirk-like captain, are you?"
I'm my own kind of captain.
She kind of squints at you, and there's a moment where you're not sure if she's annoyed by your answer or if it's approval. But after a few seconds, she nods and says, "Very well. In that case, here are your official orders." She hands you a data pad. "And you are cleared to use transporter room 5 to beam over to the Arcadia. And Captain,
Thank you.
the last thing before I, leave you to it, just be careful out there. We've had some Orion in the area recently. So, just so you know."
As soon as she mentions Orion, you see Matic tense up pretty badly.
Is the Admiral still with us, or did she leave us?
I mean, I was kind of waiting to see if any of you asked her a question or anything. But if none of you say anything to her, she'll walk off.
Well, I'm curious, is Orion activity in this area common?
Well, to be honest, they started up about 2 weeks ago with simple raids on convoy shipments. But these days, they've gotten so bold as to attack some of the less well-equipped starships out there. I know for a fact the Bellerophon, for example, was beset by 2 Orion raiders. Luckily, the captain was well versed in Orion tactics and was able to escape their little trap.
Well, if you have any dossiers on those tactics, I'll make sure to brief myself before we head out.
Of course, you should be able to find them in the database, no problem.
Very well. You don't mind if we stretch our legs a bit before heading over to the Nova, do you?
Of course, you may do as you like. Just know that the moment you set aboard your ship, you are, and she does air quotes, on the clock, as it were.
Okay. Thank you.
And she'll look over everyone again, wait for questions, and if there are none, she will walk off.
Lieutenant Medic, are you all right?
Yeah, just Orion's and I have a bad history.
Well, not too many people have a good history with the Orions. If you need to speak with the counselor, he's always there. Well,
I'm good. Just need to get to the engines.
Yeah. Whatever time frame I set to meet everyone back on the Nova, I'll give that to my crew. But yeah, you guys definitely take a bit of shore leave before we head out.
Alrighty. Give me 1 second as I move all your tokens onto this map. Who am I missing? I'm missing Monday. There's Monday.
I have a question. So I know from like Star Trek Voyager that the Equinox gets lost in, and I think that happens before Voyager goes missing. Has that happened yet?
Oh, it's been a while since I watched Equinox. Honestly, I'm not sure. Like, Stardate wise, Voyager has just gone missing. Um,
Okay, because I know like in the core book of this game, they mentioned like all of these Nova ships are floating, or at least Starfleet thinks they are.
yeah, Starfleet thinks they are, is the key thing here.
Okay.
All right. Well, let me just ask, is there anything anyone wants to do during their little period of shore leave? Or should I skip ahead?
After being cramped in a runabout for a couple of days with some 20 people, probably hit the showers.
Probably a good thing, yeah.
Is there an equivalent to Quarks here?
There is. It's not as awesome as Quarks is, unfortunately, but it'll get you what you need. Get you a good synthale, or if you want the good stuff, you could spend some of your latinum, as it were. I'm not going to track your latinum, even though it's not a mechanic, but just know that you have some sort of bartering mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go on the comms and speak to my family who are stationed elsewhere.
Very good. So you have a wife and one kid, yes?
That is correct.
Was it a boy or a girl?
It was a boy.
All right. How old is he?
He's 2 years old.
2 years old. All right. So your wife will, and I'm not going to RP her too much, but she will basically just say, I'm glad to hear that you're safe. Your son did the most interesting thing the other day. And she shares one of those classic baby stories about how the baby did something hilarious. It can be whatever you want.
Oh yeah, I don't expect you to roleplay this bit because that can be a bit awkward.
Yeah, I hear you. It's mostly for flavor and so that I like tying in people's backstories, that sort of thing.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Did anyone else want to do anything?
I want to pull up the records of the Orion attacks and see if I recognize any Orion ships or any of the clans or syndicates, and see if they're the ones I've had to deal with before.
Okay, that's a fair question. Go ahead and roll me a. What would it be? I guess a insight and security.
Difficulty.
We'll call it 1. And I should say, all of you have had your stress has been cleared. You're back at 0 momentum. I'm back at a certain amount of threat. We have basically reset.
Determination as well, right?
Yes. I should probably fix my own threat as I say that before I go too far. There we go.
How much threat did you have?
I had 9 threat at the end there.
It's not too bad.
Yeah. The book recommended that I should have thrown more Neanderthals at you, but I didn't think it was thematically appropriate with the direction you guys were going. So,
if computers is a focus, will that apply?
I'm going to say no, simply because you're calling up records. You're not like doing anything that would involve the computer other besides like a data access. Alrighty, 1 success is all you need. So what you learn is that, thankfully, none of the Orion that have been involved with these attacks are ones you know of. But you do notice a eerie similarity between their tactics that they used in these attacks and the ones that you were involved in.
All right.
All right. Anyone else have anything?
I wasn't sure how to send a PM on Roll20, so I've just sent a quick little bit on Discord.
Okay. Let's see. Um,
Because I'm aware that I haven't written up my whole backstory yet.
no, that's cool. I'd say that's fine. You can have that going on.
Oh, that's just for you to use. That's
Okay. Yeah, I will definitely keep that in mind. And for the record, it is /W and then the name of the person you're trying to say something to, and then
cool.
Message. But yeah.
I'll be at the whatever corpse is here with some like coffee or tea or something, sending out some subspace messages to the family, and then just going over those security dossiers on the Orions in the area before heading over to the ship.
Okay. You'll actually get a subspace message from Captain Thomas, the former captain of the Arcadia, as you are sitting in the Reclamat, or whatever the bar is actually called. And the message is very brief, and it's literally a sentence long, and it says, "She's a fine ship, Captain. Just make sure you don't overload the impulse engines."
I chuckle when I read that. Does he have a new assignment?
He does. He has been assigned all the way over near the Cardassian border. So he's cross-quadrant at this point.
Right. I'll reply to it. I don't know what it says. I'll give him some kind of similar jab or some friendly joke.
Okay. Fair enough. I think that's everyone except Rochelle. Did Rochelle want to do anything?
Well, I'm curious. Does the Arcadia have a dedicated tactical officer, or no?
So, right now, and you'll be introduced to her very shortly. There is a tactical officer of a sorts.
Okay.
But I don't think you would know her name yet. Like, the only people that would know would be the XO and the captain at this point.
Okay.
Speaking of which, who is our XO?
So that actually will be another subspace communique you'll get. Well, not really subspace because she's in the same station, but you'll get a message from Admiral Haru, and she will basically say in her message that the transfer from the Klingon Federation officer exchange program had been acting as the XO as needed. So,
Okay.
Haru doesn't say that that's a problem, but you get there's an undertone that she's not 100% on board.
Oh, okay.
Or Haru isn't 100% on board, I should clarify. But yeah.
And I don't think the Klingons have withdrawn from the Khitomer Accords yet.
No, that hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like a year, maybe 2 years off.
Something like that.
Yeah, it is a year off. Yeah, that would be 49011.4, which is quite a ways away. Anyways, go ahead.
Just out of curiosity, is there a way that we can do stuff that would make them not pull out of it, or are we still going to be following that timeline?
I would say that unless you decided to ignore your mission and flew the Arcadia over to Cardassian space, you can't really stop the whole withdrawal from the Khitomer Accords. But there will be some events that you might have influence upon, but I would say definitely not this one, unfortunately. But yeah, unless anyone has anything else, in which case tell me just to shut up and I'll listen.
Well,
Go Go ahead.
All Rochelle was going to do is just, like, he's pretty eager to get started. It's his first assignment and everything, so he would go over and start, like, familiarizing himself with the systems that he's going to be dealing with. So
Very good. So we'll say all of you gather up on the teleporter pad or the transporter pad, and there's the shimmering blue light and a slight hum as your molecules are displaced and reassembled somewhere else. And it's at this point I'm going to turn you over to the mega map. For those of you that are watching the stream, I'm going to go ahead and apologize. It is quite a large map, so I'll do my best to show you what's going on. But you guys should be right about here on the map. And basically what happens is as you materialize in the one of the Arcadia's transporter bays, you see across from you behind the console is about a 5'10" light blue grizzled looking Andorian. And you notice that his left antenna doesn't seem to be quite moving properly. It kind of jerks and spasms a little bit. He is in the typical operations or command style yellow uniform. And as you all materialize in, he kind of steps around to the front of the console and he says, "It's good to see you, Captain, and the rest of you as well."
Sorry about that pause.
That's okay.
Good to see you too. He's a new transfer as well, correct?
Yes, this is Senior Chief Otis.
Okay. I'll step off the pad. Is everyone else aboard?
I mean, are you asking this in character or out of character?
I'm asking this to in character to Chief Otis.
Okay, just want to make sure. He says, well, as far as I'm aware, yes. The last arrivals were U4.
Excellent. I visibly start stretching a bit now that I'm back on the Nova. I'll see everyone on the deck in I don't know, X 100 hours.
About that, Captain, before you all leave, I have your bed assignments, if that's all right for me to hand out now.
Sure.
All right. So Otis walks up to Monday first, and he says, Ensign Monday, you are actually just outside to the left. You are in Deck 2, Section 4. And then he goes up to Maddock, and he says, Lieutenant Junior Grade Maddock, you are right next to him. And then he goes to Rochelle, and he says, Ensign Rochelle, you are the lucky ensign who gets a accommodation on Deck 1, Section 3. And then to the captain, he says, and then Captain Tahan, you, of course, have the captain's quarters.
Deck 1, correct?
Yep, Deck 1.
Okay.
And hopefully you all can see it. I've labeled each of the officers' quarters with your name or who might be in it. So, just so you know. And the one last thing that Otis will say before you guys start filtering out is he says, would you like me to prepare a tour of the ship, sir?
By all means.
Excellent. Well, we'll set how much time did you want to give for everyone to settle in before you wanted them to meet on the bridge?
An arbitrary amount of time, 45 minutes.
45 minutes? Okay.
Whatever time is needed for the necessary role play and settling in.
Okay, very good. So Otis will say, very good, I will arrange it for 1,300 hours then. And we'll start on the bridge. But yeah, you guys now have free reign of the Nova, or the Arcadia. So we'll start with the captain. Where are you headed first?
Well, I'll head up to the bridge and put my things back in their quarters. But I'm very interested in taking a full tour of every deck of the bridge with Chief Otis and my senior officers.
Okay. Is anyone else going to the bridge?
um, I'm gonna hop down to engineering real quick and just check it out, make sure everything's up to par, and then I'll head to the bridge after that.
Okay.
So
Oh,
all our
sorry.
personal belongings were sort of already packed away, were they?
Yeah, you would have come
Oh, yeah.
aboard with that stereotypical like duffel bag case thing that they show sometimes in TNG.
Well, I guess I'll dump my duffel bag in my quarters and then go fiddle with the con panel.
All right. I think that's everyone but Rochelle.
Rusha would just head up to his quarters, stow his stuff, and then head to the bridge to get the lay of the land.
Okay. So, Matic will handle your thing real fast. So you head down to main engineering, and you just kind of poke your head in and see that everything seems to be in order. The main dilithium chamber seems to be glowing the appropriate color. There are a few officers around and enlisted crewmen around that are, doing engineering type things. But none of them seem to really notice you, poking your head in at this moment. Unless you want to say or do anything.
No, just wanted to make sure everything was good and make sure everything was running good.
All right, very good. All right, so we'll say you all take the turbo lift up to the bridge, kick you guys onto this map. And I think the only token that's missing is Matic, so let me get Matic on here. So, as you all walk onto the bridge, it is a fairly small bridge, which makes sense based on the size of the Nova class in general. Importantly, what you are going to notice is that there is a imposing Klingon female in the captain's chair as you walked in. And as she noticed you come in, she immediately snapped, "Captain on bridge, everyone at attention." And of course, she stands, as do the other crewmen who were manning the stations as you walked in. And you see that the sergeant, Sergeant Ujessa, as you will very quickly come to know, she is about 6'2", and she is in the very stereotypical Klingon officer outfit, which is basically, if you remember, is the boob window. She also has at her waist a Dekong or Dektog dagger. I'll say it right eventually. In a sheath, and she also has a Klingon disruptor pistol at her side as well. And as everyone jumps to attention, she says, "Captain, I didn't expect you so soon. I trust everything is in order."
Now that everyone's standing at attention, I just briefly get a look of everyone's face because these are the first time I'm seeing those people. I'll tell them at ease, and then yes, everything's fine. Just the senior officers and I were all enthusiastic, I should say, to get started on our mission.
As am I. We have been station keeping for over a month now to accommodate the retrofit.
Yeah, the sooner we finish this shakedown, the better, ask me.
I am in full agreement, Captain. And she will shuffle to the side, and she will head over to the comm station, not the con, the comm. And on the as far as I'm able to determine, that also shares with tactical, so that's where she sits for the time being.
I'll go pop a squat in the captain's chair.
It is a very comfy captain's chair.
Yeah.
As this is your first command, if I remember correctly,
Yep.
it's a little imposing. Like, there's this subtle sense that, you are almost like a kid playing on a bridge where you don't belong, But as you kind of look around and at everyone, that feeling quickly vanishes. Like, this is your ship. This is where you belong.
Yeah, I just have to remind myself this is no different than when I was on the bridge but wasn't a captain. If I can do that, I can do this.
Very good. I believe Monday you were going for the con.
Sorry. Yes, that's right. I'll walk over there, but as I walk over, I'll give Ensign Roshar a little nudge in the side, gesturing over to Sergeant Ujesa, and I'll whisper, "I think she has the hots for you."
I don't know. How does Rousseau take this?
Show's gonna kind of scowl a little bit and be like, "I seriously doubt that." And will gesture to his ears.
All right.
Klingon chicks love the ears. I give him the thumbs up as I walk away.
All right. So Monday, you relieve a red shirt crewman and take your rightful place at the con. It is about what you expected for a starship of the line. It is you have all the readouts you could ever need at your station. You have the appropriate not lever, but almost like a glorified gear shift that is controlling impulse speed, and you also have a small readout of the sensor readings that are coming from the ops station.
This thing is busy. Too busy. How are you supposed to concentrate on flying with readouts from ops? Flashing lights? I don't even know what those flashing lights are.
And as you say that, a light begins flashing.
But I tap on it.
So you perform a bit of percussive maintenance on the light, and it stops flashing.
It's looking good, Captain.
All right. Is everyone on the bridge, or?
I would say, yeah, everyone else is on the bridge at this point. Did Rousseau want to check out the ops station, and did Matic want to check out the engineering station?
Yeah, Rochelle will definitely go to the op station and start fiddling around.
Okay.
Yeah, Matic will go to the engineering station and just start double checking everything again.
Okay. So, yeah, it's almost, I wouldn't say whimsical, but it is a bit exciting for everyone as you go to your respective stations and check out the readouts and make sure everything's in order. It really settles in after a few minutes that you're actually doing this. This is, your new job. This is, again, as I said with the captain, this is where you belong. And it's about this time that Senior Chief Otis will come onto the bridge, and he'll say, "Well, I see everyone's here. Would you like to get a tour underway, Captain?"
Absolutely. Sergeant Ujesa, you have the bridge.
Alright, Captain. And, as soon as you vacate your chair, she goes over and, the other crewmen that handle the bridge filter in as you all leave your stations. So I'm going to kick you guys back over to this map, and I'll be doing a bunch of shift pinging to show off certain rooms in the ship. So bear with me. But Otis will first take you to the conference room, which is located here. And he'll say, as you might expect, this is the conference room. It's not the biggest room in the world, but it should accommodate all the senior officers. And he'll also show off on the first deck. He'll show off where the captain's quarters are. He'll show off where the escape pods are, because it's very important to know where those are. and he'll also show where the main turbo lift is that isn't connected to the bridge. Unless anyone stops him at any point. And, as I'm saying this, feel free to interject and, ask Otis questions. But as you kind of filter on through into the turbo lift, Otis brings you to deck 2. And he says, over here we have, of course, the transporter pads where you came in. We also have various officers' quarters, and we also have both the captain's office and Ujessa's office. He points out those offices over here to the left. And then he also says, over here in section 1, we have the mess. A bit of warning, the Ractogenos that have been coming out of it have been, shall we say, a bit too sweet recently. And, you poke your head in and you see that it's a fairly small, like, Defiant-sized mess hall, with a couple of, God, I can't remember the name of them right now. You know what I mean. The stuff that, makes other stuff. Replicator. God, why couldn't I remember that? There are a couple of replicators here in the enlisted mess. And he says, Otis says, originally we didn't dine the same place as you officers, but since the holodeck went in, we've all been using the same mess. And then, unless anyone interjects, he'll lead you to where the holodeck is. And it's at this point I get to introduce another NPC. As Otis, taps the console that's next to the main archway into the holodeck. And he says, if I'm right, this is Chief Heliong's normal time to spa. This might be a good opportunity for you all to meet her. And, he taps on the console a little bit, and the computer says, enter when ready. And he steps in front of the door, and the door opens. And all of you can see inside that there is a great grassy plain with rolling hills that stretches as far as the eye can see. Or at least the, perception of such, because it is only a small holodeck. You see almost immediately in front of you, there is a curious creature that most of you probably wouldn't have seen before. This individual is about 6'5", and she is clad in a blue skirt that is similar to Troy's outfit in the beginning of TNG, or if you'd like to think of the skirts that were in the original series days. She is sporting a series of scales along her arms, hands, and thighs that are very impressive looking. They look like they are both for show and for defensive purposes. She also has these two kind of imposing looking horns that pierce through her wild looking ashen colored hair, and she also has a raptor like tail. And you see that she is, at the moment, kind of lying down in the fields, almost sunbathing. But as you kind of come up to her and Otis coughs, she very quickly looks around and jumps to her feet, and she says, "Oh, Captain, I wasn't expecting you so soon." She snaps a very quick salute. She says, "Chief Heliong, reporting for duty, sir."
At ease. Sorry to intrude on your free time. The Senior Chief Otis was giving us a tour of the ship.
Oh, you were not intruding at all, Captain. I recently just finished my calisthenics program and thought I could spend the rest of my holodeck time relaxing.
Well, as you were. It's a pleasure to meet you. Chief Heliong. I am Captain Tahan.
Yes, of course. I know who you are. If it's no trouble, Captain, I would like to speak to you privately whenever you're done with your tour.
Okay, I'll call you when I get back to my office.
Excellent. And then she looks around at the rest of the senior staff, and she says, well, she points at Rochelle, and she says, "You're Ensign Rochelle, yes?"
Yes, Chief.
It is my honor to say that I am eager to work under your guidance.
I give Ensign Rousseau a quick knowing look.
Oh,
I joined Monday in that look.
I'm sure we'll work well together. He'll kind of be a little bit confused as to what all the looks are about.
Well, to her credit, Heliong doesn't let it get too awkward, and she'll return back to her little sunbathing. But yeah, unless you guys linger in the holodeck a bit more, Chief Otis will keep on with the tour. So let me move over to deck 3.
After we leave the holodeck, I'm going to kind of pull Rousseau to the side and be like, "Hey, man, it's like you're gonna be popping with all the ladies on the ship." Then I'm gonna say it just loud enough for Monday to hear. Also,
Oh, didn't you hear? He's the most eligible bachelor coming out of the academy.
Let's keep up with the tour, guys. That's, Otis and the captain are getting ahead of us.
Sure thing, Casanova.
Oh, very good. So, when you guys arrive at deck 3, Otis starts to point out several of the interesting features. The first of which, he says, "This bay over here to your left, or rather my right, is stellar cartography. I believe Ensign Kayak is on duty at the moment, but we won't disturb him unless you really want to." And then he leads you around the corner, and he shows off all of the escape pods that are lining the hull. And then he shows you the security complex, which is over here. And he says, "This is where we handle all away mission briefings, where the brig is and where the armory is." And he pokes his head into the armory and he says, "Ah, Lieutenant Soril, how are you? I wish to introduce you to the captain and the rest of the senior staff." And Soril, as you look at him, he is a bearded Vulcan that is about 5'9", and he's in yellow uniform. His entire face is framed by that beard that he's got going on, and he also has a mustache on his upper lip. Both are very well kept. They have much order about them. And as you poke your head in and introduce yourselves, Soril will just very respectful, and say, "Well, Captain, it is a pleasure to meet you, as well as the rest of you. I am looking forward to serving under each and every one of you."
Likewise, Lieutenant Sorrel. We're not actually in the mirror universe, are we?
No,
Bearded
you're not in
Vulcans?
the mirror
Okay.
universe. No.
All right.
Yeah. Before you go, Soril will kind of look to Otis, and Otis will nod. And Soril says, "I understand that some of you may need phaser equipment, as yours was originally lost. If you would return here at your earliest convenience, I will issue you a new phaser of appropriate design."
Yeah. Thank you, Lieutenant. I think mine was faulty.
Well, I can guarantee you, Ensign, that none of the instruments that I hand out or that Senior Chief Otis hands out, we have calibrated them to the best specifications possible. They should have no issue doing their job.
I just nod.
Okay. So, very briefly, Otis kind of leads you in, shows you where the mission briefing room is, which is this room here. And then he pokes his head in to see that there's a Bajoran named Ensign Lowe's, or Lowe's, whichever it is, manning the brig. And you see that the brig is quite literally a single room, currently not occupied by anyone, but, just so you know where it is. And then moving on with the tour, Otis brings you to the med bay, or sick bay, as some call it. And inside, you see that there is a very short Denobulan. And by short, I mean he's like 5'2". And he is in the typical blue uniform that most medical personnel have. His hair is cut very short, and it also outlines his cranial ridges to make them look all the more prominent. And as you all kind of walk in and say hello, he says, "Ah, yes, good to meet all of you. Captain, and this, I suppose, goes for the rest of you as well. I would appreciate it if you made some time that I might perform a quick physical on all of you. I'm sure your last one is up to date, but I just like to make sure, if that makes any sense."
Of course, Doctor. Make any arrangements you need to have my senior staff examined.
Of course.
It's good to meet you.
Yes, it is good to meet you as well. And I'm sorry, I might have dropped his name. This is Lieutenant Dore. But he kind of looks at each of you in turn and says, "I'll send personal summons, as they were, to each of your terminals in your quarters, and simply come here at your earliest convenience." And just as you are about to leave the sick bay, you hear an interesting squawk come from the little cabinet over here. And it kind of sounds like a parrot. If a parrot was like crossbreed with a almost like a cat.
Doctor,
Yes?
what's back there?
Back where, sir?
I point to the sound.
Oh, you mean that? Oh, don't worry. That is simply my pet. I don't let her fly around during ship's tours.
Okay.
All right. So unless anyone does anything else, Otis will continue the tour. He'll show you the cargo bay, which is currently unmanned by anyone. He'll also show you a few more of the science bays that are on deck. But after that, he will move on to deck number 4. And hopefully I'm doing this in a way that keeps you guys engaged. There's no like easy way to go and show you guys everything, so if it gets too boring, just shout. I'll speed it up. But on deck 4, Otis brings you first to the main computer room. And he doesn't really say much about the computer room. He's like, "Here are the computers. They're great." But he moves through and he shows you the Wave Rider captain's yacht on the other side of the computer core. And he says, "We will be meeting Chief Gadget here in a few minutes, but I wanted to show you off the captain's yacht. It is my understanding that apparently most Nova-class vessels don't carry one. So you can imagine that Chief Gadget is very excited to be able to work on one." And the Wave Rider shuttle is, I believe it's a bit larger than the Delta Flyer. It looks like it could probably fit 10 people easily. And it is it has a very sleek design. But unfortunately, since I don't have any deck plans because they were never used in the show, we'll just have to use Theater of the Mind for what the interior looks like.
Ooh, now that is a nice little bird. I bet she can do the Kessel Run pretty quick.
Otis just kind of cocks his head to the side and his antennas try to do like little interrogation marks, and he's like, I don't know what the Kessel Run is, but I suppose Chief Gadget might."
And you say Chief Garrett looks after this?
Chief Gadget, yes.
Gannet, like the bird.
G-A-D-I-T-T, Gadget.
Oh, got it. Well, I've been known to partake in a little bit of on-the-side engineering and maintenance of vessels. So maybe I'll have to have a little chat with you, Garrett.
Well, as it
It's a
so
nice
happens, we're
Yeah.
headed right there.
Maybe there's a few speed stripes.
Now it's a Monday. You're forgetting that's the
flames.
captain's yacht.
Oh, he has the whole ship to play with. The captain. You wouldn't mind if a few little runs in that bird of yours.
We'll see.
I've got big plans for that thing. Flames on the side. Skull and crossbones. I'll send you the plans.
I'll review them in my office.
Oh, very good. So, Otis then takes you to the actual shuttle bay. And inside, elbow deep in a worker bee shuttle is a Bolian, a female Bolian. So a blue skin, kind of that singular ridge line that kind of bifurcates their face. She's about 5'8", and she's also in a yellow uniform. And as she hears you all come in, she says, whoever you are, hand me that hyperspanner over there. She kind of points at a toolbox, which is off to the side, out of her reach.
So grab the hydro spanner.
Okay. So you go over, grab the hyperspanner. Do you hand it to her?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So she takes it, and she does a few more adjustments to the worker bee. And after she's done, she wipes her forehead and turns around. She says, "Oh, the senior staff. Well, this is a surprise." She bows her head very respectfully, and she says, "I am Chief Gaddett. I'm responsible for all shuttlecraft operations aboard the Arcadia."
I'm well aware. I'm glad to have you on board.
Oh, it is an honor, Captain, and if I may say, thank you for selecting me for this position.
Well, the captain and the chief are docking. Rochelle's gonna go to Chief Otis. Why is everybody surprised that we're here?
Well, I thought it best not to tell them that I gave them a very vague time that when the tour would take place. I've found that impromptu visits often show you the true nature of how a room or station or sick bay or any kind of thing like that operates. If you give them too much warning, they gussy it up and hide what's really going on.
Rochelle will nod and file that away.
Rochelle.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty smooth what you did there. Quick thinking, Casanova. Stepping forward with the hyperspanner like that.
She asked for it, so I passed it to her.
I just give her a little smile and a nod. Casanova.
It's a good movie.
Oh, I forgot to shift ping. No wonder. I was like, why is the stream not right? There we go. You guys are down there. Sorry. So yeah, what else? Was there anything else that you wanted to say to Gaddett, Captain, or no?
I don't think so.
Okay. Moving on. Scroll down so I can scroll where the thing is. So we've reached Deck 6. And honestly, there isn't a whole lot to go around on Deck 6. So, you'll see that there are entrances into engineering from here, but it's not like the main entrances of engineering. You'll also see that the second floor of the shuttle bay is on this deck as well. But other than that, not a whole lot going on in here. He moves you guys along to Deck 7. And it is at this point that Matic probably gets a little bit excited because this is the first stop is the main engineering bay. And as Otis leads you inside, as I said, the dilithium chamber is about the same size as it should be for a vessel the size of the Nova class. It has, piping and other such conduits coming off of it, feeding back up to the nacelles. It has the stereotypical white and blue glow that most warp cores should have. And as you all walk in, the nearest engineer, who it will remain unnamed, kind of notices that you all have walked in, and he says, "Oh, Senior Chief Otis and Chief Engineer Maddock, hi. We weren't expecting you for another hour."
Okay.
Just a very simple okay. So the crewman says, "Well, I think everything's in order. The chief on duty should be able to tell you more if you really are interested."
Who is the chief on duty?
That would be, as I scroll up my names, that would be Chief Alon.
And they are where? That way I can go talk to him.
Yes, 1 second. And he goes over to, where the opening is, where you can, walk all the way around the warp core. And there's ladders that, go up to the secondary bay. But he kind of just shouts up to the upper decks, "Chief Allen, the chief engineer is here to see you." And you hear a thunk and then some cursing. And then after a few moments, a human, about the size of Maddock, however large Maddock is, comes down and kind of wipes his hands on his uniform. And he says, "Ah, yes, Chief Engineer. It's good to meet you in person." And he extends a hand to shake.
And say it's good to meet you as well. Everything up to code, everything up to par.
Well, if I must be honest, the new computer systems in the holodeck pull a bit more power than we were originally spec'd out for, but I think she can handle it.
All right. We'll as soon as we get done with the tour, I'll head back over here and we can see if there isn't a way we could pull some extra power somewhere.
Very good, sir. I look forward to it. And then, unless anyone has any further business in Chief Engineering, the tour will carry on. So, Otis will point out the basically it's the equivalent of 10-4, just on a lower deck, right over here. It is, for lack of a better term, it is Deck 7, Section 3. It is a observation/conference lounge where you get the sense most of the engineering folk hang out. That this is probably where Maddock could set up a little tent to camp in if he so wished. Next to it is the astrometrics lab, which is a slightly larger kind of deal than stellar cartography. There are a few crewmen inside, and they respectfully say they're eager to be here, good to see you, etc., etc. Moving on.
For the sake of focuses, astronavigation, is that the same as astrometrics?
Technically, I mean, navigation uses astrometrics, but it is different because it is the astrometrics and stellar cartography are about charting the path. Astronavigation is applying the charts. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, cool. And then finally, the last bit of tour that Otis has in store is he brings you on down to Deck 8, and he kind of just points off to the side, and he says, "Well, if we ever land on the planet, this is where the airlock-in landing ramp is." Oh, I should have done him in his voice. Sorry. He continues on to say, "We've only made planetfall once before, if the ship's log is correct, but I don't see any significant problems if we do make planetfall in the future. But, gentlemen, this comes to the end of the tour. If you need me, you can find me in the cargo bay for the next couple of hours as I am still going through the manifest.
Sorry, Chief Otis.
Yes.
Where's the nearest toilet?
Oh, well, of course. And he points out the nearest restroom. People always forget to put them on deck plans, but
I know, I was just being flippant.
yeah, there's one nearby if you need it.
And I think each crewman quarters has a head.
Oh yeah, it has a head, sonic shower. The officers' quarters have a bath even, I believe. So it's good stuff. Good stuff.
I mean, Riker has to shave in a bathtub.
Take care of that beard, probably. But yeah, now that the tour's over, what would each of you like to do? And we'll start at the bottom this time. So, Rochelle, what would you like to do at this point?
Well, how long till we're officially on duty? Like, what is the plan with regards to that?
You have about 5 hours before the main bridge shift starts.
Okay. Yeah, so Rochelle will go to his quarters, kind of unpack his few belongings, and he's going to sit down and start going over the programs available for the holodecks,
Okay.
specifically looking for training programs for Ambujitsu.
Okay. Relevant for you in that case is you're going to see that there are not quite what you're looking for, but you do notice that there are training programs and workout programs for Sergeant Ujessa. She has, of course, the Klingon training program. The other programs that you would note is that Chief Heliong also has a similar set of programs for her. And then, other than that, the other programs that are on file are very basic. You get the sense that no one's really started to play with the holodeck yet. Like, Heliong is probably the first individual to really use it to its full potential. So it's one of those things where you've kind of got an open book at the moment to do as you wish with the holodeck.
All right, he'll make a note that he's going to have to program some training programs and maybe some entertainment as well.
Very good. Very good. Anything else?
Not really. Like, yeah, he'll just kind of get comfortable, and he's not going to hang out on the bridge if it's not his duty shift, because he doesn't want to just mile about uselessly. So,
Okay, fair enough. Monday, what are you doing during this time?
I'm going to search. I mean, do we have access to the ship's logs? Is that something I'd be
do.
able to do? Yeah. I'm going to pull up the record of the Arcadia's landfall when it landed on the planet. That's pretty interesting. I'm going to read up on that. That's fascinating piloting as far as I'm concerned.
It is. So you would know that looking at the notes.
And I'll read that.
Okay.
Sitting on. Yeah, I'll read that inside of the Wave Rider parking bay.
Okay. Very classy. Very classy. You would know, looking at the log, that the ship made planetfall on a planet known as Muvkos. I pick these exotic names and can't even say them. Muvkos is the planet that the Arcadia landed on before. And it was a Class M planet, so it was fairly easy to make planetfall. There wasn't a whole lot of turbulence. There wasn't a need to inoculate the crew as they did some survey missions on the planet. But as far as you know, from these logs, it was a fairly routine landing.
Does it give the name of the who was it? The con?
It does. The individual at the com at the time, or the con at the time, was a gentleman known as Ensign Titus.
I heard he likes to play whatever that game in Final Fantasy X is.
Blitzball?
Blitzball, yeah. Okay, no, that's good. And there's no reason as to why it landed on the planet.
Well, I mean, it landed for a scientific mission. It was just easier to land and have everyone kind of walk out instead of transporting everyone.
Oh, okay. I'll just study like the telemetry and that of the landing as I relax in the parking bay of the Wave Rider
Very good.
with a cup of coffee.
Klingon coffee or regular coffee?
Not here. Human coffee. Human normal coffee, please.
Very good. Matic, what are you up to?
Go back to engineering and okay, so all the like crewmen and stuff on the ship, have they been on the ship or are they all brand new like us?
I would say that it's probably a good 75 have been here before and 25 percent are new. Um, so I'd say probably a good three-fourths or a half of your engineering staff have worked on the Arcadia before, so they know the quirks and whatnot.
Okay, so the guy who was acting as chief, Ulissa?
You mean in engineering, right?
Yeah,
That was Chief Ulan or
Ulan. Okay,
Alan. Sorry.
Alan. Uh, has he been on the ship? I'm assuming.
Yes, he
Okay,
came aboard with the ship's commissioning, so he's been here since day one.
okay. So I'm gonna want to talk to him about all the quirks in the ship. Um, what systems have taken damage if there's been fights? Which systems are usually watched the most? Trying to do the whole, extra power for the holodeck from non-essential systems, things like that.
Okay.
Just try to learn more about the ship.
All right. For sake of argument, you'll learn that kind of like the Defiant class, Anova's engines are a little bit overpowered to begin with. Um, that they, even though you can't make Warp 9, they still produce a tremendous amount of power for the size of their engine. And you would know that the only damage that has occurred in the past was they needed to overload the impulse engines to escape as I scroll up my notes, to escape a ambush by an unknown species, and that in the process of overloading the engines, the EPS conduits on decks 4 and 5 almost completely blew out and needed replacement.
Uh,
And then,
uh,
what else would you learn? Let me think. Oh, you would also know that, as I said, the computer and holodeck pull a little bit more power, but there's plenty of that to go around. It's just a matter of if we ever get into a combat situation, you got to start tracking power, that sort of thing.
okay. Um, I guess I'd also just kind of be like, what's the lowdown on the people? Who's the assholes? Who are the nice people? Who are the keep to themselves? Things like that.
Okay. For say, because I don't have names for every single crewman on ship. Um,
Yeah.
we'll say that for the most part, they all seem to be fairly well kept and courteous individuals. There is one trouble person, which I'll get you the name of later. That is, how Barkley would always run off to the holodeck and not do his duty. Um,
Yeah.
This guy kind of does that, but not with a holodeck. He just doesn't show up to work, basically.
What is he like? What's his job? You don't like.
He is a maintenance engineer, and actually, I do have a name for you. His
Mhm.
name is Reeve, Ensign Reeve, Reve.
Um, is there any particular reason, or he's just lazy?
I mean, if you ask around, most of the people in the bay, not in the cargo bay, in the main engineering, are gonna say that he is a very lazy ensign that just enough to scrape by. But if you ask Chief Alon, he'll say that you get the sense that he gets the sense that the ensign is just simply bored, like he's not being challenged enough.
All right. I guess I'll pull up his service record and like his uh academics, and then see if just try to learn a little bit about him to try to see if there's something I could do to make him a little more challenged. That makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense.
All
All
right.
right. Anything else during your time?
Nope.
Cool. Finally, we come to the captain. So, Captain, what are you doing?
So I've gone to my office and I'm giving Chief Hylon a little bit more time in her holosuite program, and I'm pulling up service records and I'm starting with my I guess temporary, sometimes EXO Sergeant Ujesa to see if there's anything that warrants Admiral Haru's um, distaste for her.
Okay. Very fair. So when you look at the service record of Ujesa, or Ujesa, whichever is convenient for you guys, um, for a Klingon on a Federation ship, she has served very exemplary. If she were in Starfleet, she probably would have received a commendation by now. Um, the previous captain would have left you a note that says something along the lines of, so long as you don't piss her off, she'll do her job damn fine.
All right. And before I call in Chief Hylon, I'll look at her record as well.
Okay. So Helium's record is about the same as the one you remember seeing. That she's worked in astrometrics or stellar cartography as a chief specialist, and that she's been on 4 or 5 ships in the past several years. So she's been around.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give her the call that she can stop by my office whenever she wants.
Excellent. So about 10 minutes passed, and then there is the little chime at the door.
Enter.
Right, and she steps in, and you see that she is bearing in her arms a bundle of cloth. And she comes, across from the desk from you, bows her head, and says, "It is tradition among my people to present our ceremonial family sword to our highest ranking officer aboard ship. That, of course, would be you, Captain."
Thank you. I will take it from her, set it on my desk, and unwrap it.
So as you unwrap the cloth, you see that there is a beautiful ornamental sword inside. It might not even be ornamental. You're really not sure. It has a dragon's head as the pommel, and it's almost like the dragon is breathing the blade. And as you kind of, briefly touch and maybe move the sword a little bit, you see that the actual blade part is prismatic in nature. It shifts hues and colors, and is, for lack of a better term, is a almost a competitor to the batleth in terms of functionality and elegance.
This is a beautiful blade. How do you pronounce it? Hylion? Helion?
Helion.
Helion. Chief Helion. I'll definitely display this in my office. And we'll take good care of the ship, and by extension, good care of this blade.
And she bows her head extremely respectfully, like almost like a half bow even. And she says, I expect nothing less from the man who we have placed trust in with our lives. If I may say something else, sir.
Of course.
Well, may I speak frankly?
Absolutely.
Are you sure about the sergeant?
I have no reason not to be. Klingons are our allies.
She kind of puts on almost like a forced smile. You can tell that it's not 100% genuine. And she says, of course, I merely bring it up because our species tend to share differing views on matters of honor.
Well, this ship follows the Starfleet uniform code. We'll use those for now.
Very good, sir. Very good. And she waits very patiently for you to dismiss her.
Oh, dismissed.
She nods again and walks on out.
I'll have the sword displayed somewhere in on the wall in the office. Not quite like Picard's desk crystal, but it'll be put up somewhere.
Okay, cool. Anything else you want to do during your time?
No, I don't have anything.
All right. So now that everyone's had a chance to settle in, etc., we'll say 5 hours pass for each of you, and come the main bridge shift, I'll kick you guys back over to this map. That way it's much easier on the recording and whatnot. So yeah, you all filter onto the bridge and take your positions. And, the universe is your oyster, as they say.
Do we have a specific assignment for our shakedown?
You do. Sorry, I probably should have mentioned it earlier. You notice that and this would be something you would have, read through on your 5-hour time period. You see that Admiral Haru has told you to investigate a crystalline nebula about 2 light years from End Station. Inside should be a probe that has a certain frequency and a certain bit of data that you can use to calibrate your sensors. Between you, the nebula, and what else? There is an asteroid field that you'll have to navigate. There's also a few training dummies, so to speak, in the asteroid field for you to test your weapons on as well. And then finally, and this is kind of an aside note, so it's not a part of the official orders, you see Haru says that you should probably check out the holodeck as well. Run a program, see that it meets your liking, that sort of thing, before you leave station.
Okay. Could we have done that in the last 5 hours?
The holodeck bit? Yeah, you could have done that.
Okay. I'll I will have done something in the holodeck. Okay. I would have just picked some popular holo novel just to see, just kind of in observation mode and let it play out.
Okay. So you pull up for sake of argument, you pull up a cheesy holo novel about the forbidden love between a Klingon midwife and a human engineer. It is pretty bad, but it seems to be working.
Just to see the variety, I'll switch it over to Hamlet and the original Klingon.
Oh, Hamlet and Klingon. Okay. Sure enough, you are treated to the sight and sound and smells even of a Klingon going, alas, poor York, I knew him well.
Very cool. Yeah, with that, I think it's satisfactory for now. If it's not, I'm sure we've got the talents of Lieutenant Matte to correct that.
So we hope. So we hope.
Could it correct the incorrect recitation of the play?
I mean, you certainly can. It's been a while since I've read Hamlet.
Sorry, it's just it's just a popular misconception that that's the line.
No, I certainly, in matters of culture, I do not mind being corrected. But yeah, as I said, you guys are on the bridge. Captain's got your orders. Only he knows what those orders are at the moment because he hasn't said anything. So
Right.
What do you guys do?
Let's see. So, whose job would it be to plot the course? Is that Ensign Monday?
That would be Monday's task, yes.
All right. Ensign Monday. I give him the coordinate. There's a crystalline nebula. Can you chart us a course through the asteroid belt to that nebula?
Yes, Captain.
All right. I'd like to exit warp when we get to the asteroid field for a bit of testing along the way.
Of course.
Um,
I'll start typing in the navigation points.
Okay.
Rochelle and Matic, how are we on our pre-flight check?
Assuming everything is good on Rochelle's end, he will communicate such.
Same for Matic. If everything's good in engineering.
Yeah, everything's green across the board.
All right, Monday, take us out.
Aye, Captain.
So, as the Arcadia begins to move away from station keeping next to end station, the view screen subtly shifts and it turns into a vast array of stars. And as Monday punches the throttle, as it were, the stars begin to blur and elongate, and then there's that flash, and you guys have entered warp. I'll move you to this map.
She's
So,
pretty smooth, Captain.
That she is. That she is.
you know, say
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I've flown some ships in my time, but gotta be honest. Starfleet have put a pretty smooth vessel together here.
Well, it's our job to convince them that's the case, so we can boldly go out there onto some real missions.
Ah. I should have done the sweeps. What's that being, like 5 hours, 15 minutes till someone said boldly go?
So, we'll say that you only need to be in warp for about 10 minutes, really, before you arrive in the system in question. And as you drop out of warp, you see that behind you is a sun distant, a big old white giant. And sure enough, there is a massive asteroid field between where you are and where a crystallid nebula is. And you can see it's just on the edge of visual range. That the crystallid nebula is this kind of assemblage of blue and white gases that sort of just spin and otherwise congregate in an area. And to also describe what the colors on the map are, the green circle is close range, the blue circle is medium range, and anything beyond that is long range. But yeah.
After we exit warp, I just want to do a sensor scan, make sure there aren't any like Orion ships in the area.
Fair enough. Roll me a... And this will be assisted by the ship, so have that ready to go.
Alright.
I believe for the ship, it should be. Where is it? Sorry, one second.
Sensors plus science for the ship. And
Yeah,
reason plus science for the-
I was debating security, but science would be fine. And also note that the Arcadia has advanced sensors, so you reduce the difficulty of scans by 1. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. But yeah, so the Arcadia will be assisting you, sensors plus science, and then your actual role will be, we'll say control plus science. Yeah, control plus science.
Alright. So,
Who wants to roll for the ship?
Captain should, I think.
Okay. Sensors, science.
what's
And I
the difficulty?
would say the difficulty. The difficulty is 2, but the ship only has to roll against a difficulty of 1. All right, 1 success for the ship. Very good.
And isn't there a thing where
If it's below the not the
it basically
station.
has everything for focus?
Yeah,
That is the case, yeah.
Yeah, if it's
All right.
below the department's number, then it counts as double. So
It was a
since
2.
science is 4 and you rolled a 2, you get a momentum.
All right.
So 3 successes.
3 successes total. So yep.
So we have 2 momentum total.
Yeah, you would have 2 momentum total.
Okay.
So, as Matic performs a scan, thankfully, there are no Orion in the immediate vicinity. And they can't cloak as far as you know, so that's good news. But you are picking up the faint warning signs, or not warning sign, but warning kind of beacon that marks the edge of the asteroid field. That signifies that this is a Starfleet training ground of sorts, and that all others should avoid it at all costs.
Are there any ships at all, or
Nope,
it's
just
just
you.
us? Okay. Captain, sensors show that we're the only ship in the area. Should be good to go without having to worry about hitting anybody.
All right. Well, let's get our weapon system. These dummies Starfleet set up for us.
All right. So, and again, this is mostly to get us a little bit acquainted with starship combat. I didn't want to spend too much time on it because it gets really expansive. Basically, the way combat for starships work is whoever's at tactical uses control plus security, and the ship assists with its weapons plus security. And as far as I'm aware, the difficulty is variable, so it just depends on what you're shooting, how fast it's going, etc., etc. For the moment, unless anyone wants to take over her station, that would be Ujessa at tactical.
That's fine. I would like to briefly take the rally action.
Okay.
It's a presence command task with difficulty 0 to generate momentum.
All right. Well, let's see how much momentum you generate.
So, presence command. I'm the cheerleader.
Yeah, basically.
And I would say team dynamics is a focus that is applicable. Right?
Yeah, that would be
Okay.
applicable. All
Okay.
right, you get 1.
Big one.
You do some like rousing, inspirational, motivational speech.
Yeah, I want to hear this motivational speech.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's it goes a little thing like oh no, my mic's not working. I totally said something very good.
How convenient.
Matic, get on that.
Yeah, Matic, I need you to fix the player's mic.
I walk over with a hammer. Okay.
No, I'll talk about about how we're really excited to see what this ship can really do.
Okay. Fair enough. So all of you feel a little bit inspired by the captain's speech. And as you come up upon the edge of the asteroid field, the Ujessa at comms kind of turns in her chair and she says, "There is a message for us, Captain. Should I play it?"
Yes.
Okay. So she pipes it onto the main view screen. And instead of the display of the asteroid field and the stars outside, it turns to a LCARS type screen. And on it, you see that there are diagrams for where the drones are in the asteroid field. And there's also the audio recording of the main computer saying something along the lines of, "Please destroy drones 1 through 3 and then proceed to Area 4 and destroy..." And this goes on for about 5 minutes. So, very long briefing. But more or less, you've got to destroy at least 3 target dummies before you can leave the asteroid field.
It's Monday. Take us in.
Captain.
So, for Monday, you would be rolling a control plus con, I believe. Yeah, control plus con. Unless you want to get like super fancy in your piloting.
Yes, of course I will.
Okay.
And is this assisted by Structure Con?
Should be engines.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Engines?
it should be engines.
One of my values is seeks the thrill of flying, so I think you would ham it up a little bit.
All right, in that case, make a daring con for you. And to assist, yeah, it would be engines and con for the ship.
What's the difficulty?
The difficulty is, we'll call it 2.
The assist was just 1 too high.
Oh. So, even though the ship, so to describe kind of what the series of rolls does there. So, there's a momentary lag in the inputs that you're putting in Monday, but after, you perform a little bit more percussive maintenance, the ship begins to respond almost as if it were your own hands. And you slowly begin weaving the Arcadia in and out of the asteroid field and, keeping her away from all sorts of rocks and other debris. At the moment, I should say your shields aren't up, but your deflectors is currently operational, so it'll handle the small stuff, but not if you run into a big one.
I think the last pilot must have had sticky fingers or something. This con doesn't respond as quickly as I'm used to.
Maybe we need to implement an open container policy on the bridge then.
So yeah, as you all kind of share a little laugh about that, you finally come upon your first training dummy, and it is a glorified stationary phaser array that is set to the bare minimum power, and it starts maneuvering around with its pitiful little thrusters. So yeah, as I said, it is a control plus security from tactical, and it is assisted by weapons plus security on the ship.
Before Ujessa takes her shot, I like to scan for weaknesses so I can feed her, some angles of attack that might be more effective.
Very good. I would say that would be insight plus security.
It's control plus science.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Why not?
Okay, and it's should be assisted by sensors plus security.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. Sorry, I still learning.
No, it's all good. So I'm just kind of a rules lawyer, so
No, I
shut up
appreciate
if you
it.
need to.
No, I appreciate
Hey,
it.
got 2 successes from the ship.
Well, let's hope I get a success then, so we can use those.
And does the advanced sensors come into play here?
I would say yes. So they reduce the difficulty by 1.
Well, the difficulty should be 0.
Yeah, the difficulty is
okay.
0 at this point. So
Yeah.
can't go any lower than that.
While this is all going on, like on the engineering console, I have power and all that, so I'm trying to watch to see if there's any adjustments that need to be made on the fly, kind of thing.
Okay, good to know.
Or sorry, I was wrong. Difficulty was 1 for that. I was looking at the wrong thing. But looks like we were successful.
Oh yeah. You have some momentum now.
In fact, I believe that should top us off.
Oh yeah.
So 3 momentum? Yep, we are full.
So, with Richaud chipping in, the data that Ujessa receives for tactical is enough that the difficulty of hitting the little, turret out there, the difficulty was originally going to be 3, but it will now be 2.
Well, sorry. The way Scan for Weaknesses works is the difficulty doesn't change, but the phasers should have a piercing effect on them.
Oh, okay.
So any resistance from shields or whatever will be reduced by 2. And then it'll get extra damage. Well, I didn't purchase any additional D20s, but sorry, if we purchase additional D20s with momentum for the attack, it'll do extra damage as well.
Okay. I might be
Well, I say
mixing
we just-
it up with something else. That's probably why I'm a little bit confused, but I hear you.
Well, I say we go ahead and do that for this first attack since we have full momentum anyways.
Okay. Who would like to roll through Jessa? If
Well, I've been
not-
doing the ship, so
I was to say,
maybe
I mean, I can do it just so the people seeing the recording can see how people do the rolls, I suppose. So yeah, let's do that. Control plus security for her. So pull up Ujessa, control plus security.
I'm assuming weapon security over here.
Yes. So control. We'll say the difficulty is 2. Discipline would be security. Number of D22. Applicable focus, no. Alright, so she gets 2 successes. And the ship gets 2 successes as well. So, what happens is at the same time as the main phaser array fires off the port side of the ship and more or less smites the hell out of the little turret training dummy thing. I'm not going to have you roll damage for it, but it pretty much evaporates underneath your phaser fire. But at the same time, Matic, you are noticing that the coolant, or I forget what they technobabble called it before, but basically the mechanism that keeps the phaser banks from overheating has started to itself heat up, which is a bit odd.
Captain, I think we should hold off on firing. The cooling system's starting to overheat, and I don't know why it's doing that.
Right, Instant Monday, maintain position here while we get the phaser fixed.
Aye, sir.
I'm gonna hop on the communicator and call Alon and ask him, "Hey, can you meet me at the cooling system?"
Of course, sir. I'll bring there right away. Should I bring others with me?
Anyone who's had experience working on it.
Of course. I'll bring them along as well. All right. So we cut to, and this will be a different scene. We cut to Matic outside the main coolant tanks, or bay, or whatever they actually are again. You enter the room with Alon and 2 other crewmen. And immediately what hits you is the sheer heat of the room. Starfleet ships are probably kept at a comfortable 75 or 80, some spring type weather temperature. This room is easily over 120 degrees, and it's made worse by the fact that it's a slightly humid heat as well.
Is it? Do we need to go get Evo suits? Evo, yeah, environmental suits.
I would say no, you could tough it out, no problem. It would just be miserable working conditions.
Okay. So I'm gonna look at the three crewmen and I'm gonna be like, all right, let's get to work. Alon, any idea why this is happening, or has this happened before?
During the original Shakedown cruise, we had some sort of similar situation, but it wasn't on this scale, no.
All right. I'm gonna start running a diagnostic on the cooling to figure out what's wrong with it.
Okay. Insight plus engineering, difficulty of 2.
Um, Talent. I know my ship, so I get an extra D20.
Very good.
So difficulty 2. Um, Power systems, computers, and EPS systems.
I would
Are
say
in
power
this?
would be probably applicable here.
All right. So
Oh yeah, you blow the hell out of the water with that check. Probably should have made it higher, but what are you gonna do? So yeah, as you run a diagnostic, you realize that the reason it's not properly venting the heat is that one of the plasma conduits is only functioning at half capacity. But unfortunately, the time to replace said plasma conduit is about a day at station. Like this isn't something you can really fix out on the open space without literally tearing open the entire weapon system.
um, I guess I'll spend a momentum real quick. For
Okay.
more information. Um, is there a way I could figure out if there's a way to go around it, or is this one of those that we just need to go back to station?
Um, I would say that this one in particular, you could bypass it, but that would mean using only the starboard phaser array. This seems to be localized to the port phaser array.
All right. So tap on my communicator. Captain. Seems that the port plasma ejector, for whatever reason, it's only working at half percentage. This isn't something we can fix out here. We're gonna have to go back to in station to fix it. Uh, starboard weapons, you can have them. Port side, I would suggest not using them. I can go ahead and shut down this side of the weapon system. That way, we don't have any more incidents. But this is best we can do if we want to keep firing.
Please do that. How long would repairs take back at space dock?
Uh, Best guess, probably about a day, day and a half.
Okay.
If no other problems show up, that is.
And just a question for the GM: how long does the training exercise take?
I mean, that's up to you guys. So ideally, it takes maybe 3 hours. So
Well, it doesn't seem to be too useful to do the test at half capacity. Opinions.
So Jessa, as you ask for opinions, will kind of turn in her seat a bit and says, "If it's all the same to you, Captain, we have one good phaser array. That's all we need."
Do I hear them over comm, or
Yeah,
have
I
I
would
gone
assume
about
so,
work?
unless you cut off. They cut you off or something.
I'm willing. I agree with the sergeant. I mean, we can just still use the starboard, get used to it. We can also see if anything comes up with it. If with the port side being out, if something happens to the starboard, then we know that's something that needs to also be fixed. Instead of us just turning back now and then months, couple weeks down the road in the middle of a real situation, something going wrong.
Agreed. It's a Monday. Plot course to the next dummy. Starboard's out or port's out?
Ports out.
All right, starboard phasers only. Let's continue.
Aye, Captain.
So Monday, as you press the Arcadia deeper and deeper into the asteroid field, you realize that, and you have to verify this on your little sensor readout you're getting from ops and astrometrics, but it starts to feel like the rocks are getting closer and closer together, and you're having a little bit of difficulty finding gaps that the Arcadia can fit through. So go ahead and roll me a control plus con at a difficulty of 3.
And should the ship be making a check?
Engines plus con.
Okay.
Captain, it might just be my little weird display here, but these asteroids are getting a bit packed.
Oh wow, the ship rolled a 1. Very good.
The ship's done a lot within its focus, within it under its department.
All right, so that's enough. So sure enough, Monday, you are able to very expertly navigate through this encroaching asteroid field, and as you more or less round one of the larger rocks, Rochelle, your sensors, since you're at ops, your sensors begin lighting up with information, and you realize that there's not just one training dummy out there. There are dozens.
Captain, I think the briefing we got might have been wrong. I'm picking up multiple training drones in this vicinity, dozens.
How nearby?
I would say that they are about 10,000 kilometers away.
And that is within firing range?
I believe I made the distance. Yes, I probably should blow up the range then. Yeah, it's just on the edge of medium range.
Hmm. I feel like this is not the kind of mistake Starfleet would make.
One would hope not.
Can
Can I
we
do a
see
more
you-
intense? Sorry,
Continue.
I was gonna ask if I could do a more intensive scan of the nearest drones and see if there's something out of place about them.
Go right ahead.
All right. What am I looking at for that? Like a sensor sweep action, or?
Yeah, I think that would probably be a good fit for you.
Okay.
And what am I doing? Sensors.
Sensors plus science.
Okay.
What's the difficulty going to be?
I'm going to say the difficulty for this is probably going to be, because I'll spend some threat here, I'll make it 4.
Ooh, okay. That being the case, do we want to spend some momentum? Because I think we're still topped off, aren't we?
We're at 4 now.
We're at 4? Okay.
But yeah, that's fine.
I think because the ship didn't pass, we have to spend momentum in order to pass, unless he rolls 2 1s.
Well, I can get 4. Yeah. I have sensor operations as a focus, so that should be an issue. Also, because I'm being aided by the ship sensors, I can reroll a die if I fail.
Oh, very cool.
So I think adding 1 should be fine, unless we want to add more. So I'll leave it up to you guys.
Yeah, I think we're fine.
Okay.
I don't know. So we're down to 3 momentum.
Okay.
So that's going to be 3 successes, and I'm going to re-roll that 18.
Okay.
And that's still not going to make it. Okay.
All right. So when you run your sensor sweep, several odd things immediately crop up to you. Even though you didn't pass, I'll give you some. I'll use the success at cost rules here. So you realize that in looking at the arrangement of the training dummies, that they have been arrayed in almost like a half moon type ray that is specifically designed to fire upon a vessel that enters their range, and there's enough training dummies out there to bring down the shields of a starship. Even though they're at low power, the focused concentration of all those beams is enough to pierce the shields. And you're also detecting very faint residual tractor traces. So whoever did this tractored these drones into place.
Instant Monday. Take us just outside of the asteroid field. I want to start scanning for other ships. Somebody is setting a trap.
Hi, Captain.
All right, so Monday, are you going to go back the way you came? You're going to go literally up or literally down? How are you getting out of the asteroid field?
I'm going to loop out in a different way in case something was watching us go in, tracking our movement in. So it's like a bit of a different exit to keep them guessing.
Roll me a we'll still call it control. Why not? A control plus con, and the ship can assist with its control plus con.
You mean engines con?
Yeah, engines con. Sorry.
Okay. What's our difficulty?
The difficulty for this will be 4, actually, because I'll spend some more threat. Gotta use that threat. It's been sitting there, and I haven't been using it.
I mean, you don't have to.
We should probably use some of our momentum.
Yeah. What's the Swift Task Momentum thing? What's that all about?
That allows you to spend 2 momentum to take a second action after your first one.
Right, okay.
I think we're just better off buying an extra die. What do you want to do Monday? This is your check.
Yeah. Has the difficulty went up due to environmental conditions? So due to the asteroids?
I would say yeah. The asteroids are partially what is causing this additional bump in in difficulty, but at the same time,
lower it by 1 with push the limits.
Oh, there you go. The other little bit of tidbit that I'll feed you is it's almost as if you are between 2 big bands at the moment. So that's you're kind of in between a rock and a hard place.
Well, let's head for the soft rocks then. So are we spending momentum for extra die, or what's happening?
Well, he's rolled a complication.
Oh.
So why don't you still roll for the ship to see if we pass the check, and then we can deal with the complication. All right, so survey says no on the check. So what'll happen is as Monday, as you bring the Arcadia about and begin to try to weave your way out of the asteroid field, all of a sudden an asteroid or a rock of some sort will begin hurtling towards the ship's hull. And, the deflector, does its best to deflect the rock, but you feel the entire ship rock a little bit as the rock impacts. And almost immediately, warning klaxons begin sounding and things of that nature. And Ujessa kind of shouts at the captain, "Should I raise shield, sir?"
Yes!
So she raises shield, and not a moment too soon, as yet another rock comes hurtling in. And if you guys look out of the view screen, you see almost as if these rocks flying at you have thruster power behind them.
That was
I
not
secretly
my fault.
love how great this trap is.
Captain, do you need me back on the bridge, or is everything good?
You need to be wherever you can do the most good.
All right. Do I need to send engineering teams anywhere?
You would note, or I would say probably Ujessa would tell you, that there is a small breach on deck 5, but it is currently being contained by force fields.
All right. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and have a team prep to take care of that breach whenever we get a chance.
Okay.
That was not my fault.
No, I don't think it was. But I'm now reminded that we do, in fact, need to.
That you cut off there a little bit.
Oh, sorry. I do still want to try to get out of the, out of this area.
Okay.
Away from the giant flying punching rocks.
They just started moving, Captain. I have no idea what happened. This bloody con doesn't react as quickly as I'm used to. That wasn't my fault.
Do your best, Vincent. I should probably use one of my abilities.
Well, as you look over your abilities, Ujessa is going to kind of put her hand to that ear in that stereotypical comp way, and she'll say, Captain, you aren't going to like this. I'm picking up an incoming transmission. It's Orion.
On viewer.
So on screen, you are immediately treated to the view of a female Orion. And again, it's just a reminder for everyone, since it's probably been a while. The female of the Orion are the ones in charge, and they do so by pheromones. But since you're not in smell range, you're not affected by them. So, but the female Orion is dressed more or less modest for an Orion. And she has this very wicked grin about her, almost like a shit-eating grin. And she says, another Starfleet ship has fallen into my trap. Oh, how I'll love gutting your ship and making it mine. And that's where we're going to stop the session.
Oh, okay. It's good. It's a good cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah. So we'll still have some more things to discuss, but let me kill the stream. So if you were watching the stream, thanks for watching, and bye-bye.